Yalla, check 1 2, mic check, Hacker Hameen here live, twitch.tv/conspiracy horsemen as we come to life. Three-way dance right now as we wait for Big Salah to go over strong on the system once again, because that's what we do here, break down all systems. It's interesting to see the three-man layout here. Stevie runs the Starship Enterprise bridge to bring you guys the best hit here, the Conspiracy Horsemen, twitch.tv, and also great work by the Hameen Media Group, having their following grow over there. Matt Schaefer Gage taking care of business over there with Big Ray on the Impact Attack. We're going to get all this stuff all linked together soon enough because it's 2019, and that's just what I got to say. It's been Hameen. I'm back on the mic with Big Steve A, and GGP's going to put your ass in the clutch. Maybe we'll probably drive your ass down too, like Tommy Dreamer right through his nuts, infidel. That's right, because we went over strong on Tommy Dreamer, and then he tried to come back on us. But tonight we'll tell the tale, the conspiracy of what really happened at Hacker Hameen's immortal heavyweight title match. Yalla. What's going on, guys? Y'all in the chat room. I see Ben's got a new camera. Unfortunately, Skype, as it sucks as it may, I can't be the one at the command board, so thankfully Stevie's running it tonight. But yeah, I can use the new 1080p cam. So got the head shaved, beard oiled. Everybody's looking good here tonight. Facial hair's in full effect on everybody. We'll see if we can get Sally on the call. But it's good to be back. It's already been a stressful week, I think, for everybody, and hopefully we can provide some catharsis in this wild world we live in. Hopefully had a good weekend with your family. Had a good one with my Conspiracy Horseman brother. Hopefully Sally's feeling better, and we'll catch up with Stevie here, Infidels. Stevie, what's up, man?
Oh, nothing much. Just coming off. I got a lot of echo, and everything will go wrong. Skype is terrible. Everything is terrible with Skype. No, we're good. Got through yet another week with a strong Master Shoot Theater at the end. And I guess a new meme with me freeze framing. I got a screen cap of me imitating Billy Kay's selling, mouth wide open. It's a new BWO shirt with me being the O.
Yeah. It's great, man. It'll be an iconic shirt, no doubt. Man, it was a good time last night on Russo Brand. If you're not a subscriber, you're missing out on Master Shoot Theater. However, we've got something special in the works here, I think, in the next month or two as we get it wired. Possibly Master Shoot Animations coming. So if you were in the Hameen Media Group or the Russo Brand Group and you saw some of the work Stevie's been doing on Vince, it's awesome, and I can't wait to see where we're going to go once we really get this laid out here. So it was a lot of fun last night. The new one's a long Master Shoot to make up for the lost episode, and I think we covered it all, Stevie.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we sure. We got the press conference still next week. That was in the lost episode of the Raw SmackDown review. I will say this: if they do listen to Master Chief Theater, there's somehow. What do you think? And Pop It On, you can weigh in on this. Do you think they're more mad that we buried the show, or do you think they're more mad that we make fun of them in Master Chief Theater?
I think that's a tough call. I think they're more mad that we make fun of them in Master Shoot Theater. They secretly love it, but they also hate it, like they have to act like it is, like when they first heard it. You've probably got more heat because you were over than me. I'm just a fucking guy that they're like, we'll never call him.
No. This guy, you know who we're talking about. I'm over. That guy there. His favorite saying for everybody was they never drew a dime, obviously in a fake subjective business now run by Marx.
Right.
But that's the funny part is they will, instead of saying, wow, we do kind of come off that way, let's just change it so nobody can make fun of us, or let's make fun of ourselves. They'll say those guys never drew a dime. Russo was filtered by Vince. They'll make up any excuse for whatever. Even though when I was there, legitimately drawing 7.0 and plus and above ratings would write the censor, so you can't tell me anything.
Once he gets his money right, you can't tell him nothing, GGP.
He's right.
Nothing. La, 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 la. Wait till Stevie gets his money right. La, la,
what
la,
song
la.
is that?
Triple H can't say nothing right. with Kanye West for you, buddy.
Oh, that's why I didn't know what it was. No, he's got all that, dude. I'd rather have the low ratings than the money.
Yeah, why not, right? And I would actually come back now. I'd be like, who on your roster now do you think is a draw? Because I don't see anybody on there that's a money draw the way they've built anybody lately, where everyone's boy, that person's must see as they lose 500,000 people and we're down to 2.1 million viewers, which we predicted. I predicted 3 weeks after Mania. Now we're 4 weeks, so I was a week behind.
I just want to say this too, for somebody like Papadon, it's just he's been around, he's working with people like Dreamer. Dreamer trust somebody like Papadon with his body. They have an excellent match. You can watch it on the Hami Media discussion group on Facebook. All this stuff that he proves time and time again when he works, that he deserves to be there. He deserves to have some kind of thing. And also, who's really appealing to the Greek or European demographic outside of NXT UK?
Cesaro in UK, but the UK, all that is they signed an indie, which good for those guys. I'm glad they got contracts, but that was more of a move to F over World of Sport than it was anything to like expand the brand. But dude, GGP just stole the show with Tommy Dreamer and like had not just your mail it in Dreamer match, like Dreamer was into it, man. Like I was expecting, ring bell on the crotch spot, fucking water spit, which I'm glad he didn't do because we got to do it. And, a couple other things, but he got his other stuff in, the white Russian leg sweep, which you usually don't see, the Raven chair spot, drop toe hold, which he usually doesn't do. And GGP with a pile driver, man. It was an awesome match, dude. And GGP had everybody in the palm of his hand on the 3 count with heat on the ref, man. It was awesome. If you're not a member of the Hameen Media discussion group, we had the whole thing up there live, so you can go back and watch it. And on a 10-match card, it was the best match on the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words, gentlemen.
It was good, man. And it was good because I did a run-in at the end, and I helped you win.
Yeah, of course, dude. There's strength in numbers. Greeks invented math. We're all good to go.
Yeah. So what do you think, GGP? You think they hate us because they ain't us, or they hate us because we talk shit on their show?
I would say if they hate because you're talking shit. I don't personally think they care about a lot of things in this world, whether it be the product, whether it be people. I just think they're used to that mentality of dog eat dog. So it is what it is. They only look out for themselves. And unfortunately, the product itself they have all the talent. I mean, they have some shitty red reel wrestlers, you know what I'm saying? Some really crappy wrestlers, but they have a lot of great talent underneath contracts, signed to contracts, and they're not using anybody right. Like you said, nobody is a must-see player anymore. Everybody's 50-50.
Even the guys that could be like an Elias and whatnot, they just are like, nah, we're just gonna jump
the only guy that they booked, and it's not by design, it's because he wants it that way and he protected his brand, was Lesnar.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. And then they'll shit on him, and then he'll go kick the hell out of somebody else and be strong again, and then they'll come back with their tail between their legs. But tonight's show brought to you again by Eagle Rare, this bottle from Triple D, a post-show celebration bottle. So thanks to Dimitri for all the sponsorship of Immortal Wrestling, everything he does with Hameen Media. We're having a good time. Honorary Horseman, this one's for you, buddy.
Well, you can save some of that liquor for Bray Wyatt after they cancel his over gimmick after 1 week.
Do you think they're going to cancel it?
That report from William Alicia in the Hameen Media discussion group already talks as I put over GGP and Russo brand that I thought the last 2 SmackDowns were just for the Fox executives. And they played this thing, and I think there was some negative feedback from Fox. And, dude, they dropped back 10 yards to fucking punt right here, possibly. Like, right now, I bet that as we do this, the discussion is going on. Do we stick with it because this shit's only going to get creepier and they're not going to get it, or do we just fucking scratch it right here? And they very well may, based on the most talked about segment that was on these shit shows on Monday and Tuesday.
Not for nothing, though. the Bray Wyatt character was so money, and they dropped that character. They dropped the ball with him.
Well, that's what we said on Russo last night. Russo said that character was phenomenal, but that's way over creative's head. Like they just don't have any idea the vision of what that really is supposed to be and how to get max value. And now this character is even more complex, which I like. I love it. But if they couldn't get that right, they're definitely fucking going to choke on this. They're not going to get it, man.
It sucks. Well, hopefully my match with Dreamer leads to bigger and better things for me, so I can be seen on national TV, and then we'll all get paid.
I just want to be the voice of Mercy the Buzzard and just get royalty checks off that and start my big voiceover career. No, this whole thing with Bray Wyatt.
Sal's in the chat room. Sorry, he says Skype's being a filthy cunt. He's getting on soon here, so we'll hopefully have him with us. Go ahead, Stevie.
Well, you know, the character of Bray Wyatt was supposed to be the next Undertaker, at least in the eyes of what we saw. Maybe not them. That would have been the legacy thing with the passing of the torch to Bray from even Taker would have been the cementing it. But they destroyed that. They muddied it. They broke those guys up way too soon. You see what happened to the other two guys. One of them wants out because he didn't do anything with this guy.
They never tied Ascension to the Undertaker to have Harper and Owens versus the Ascension while Bray and fucking Taker do their thing in the foreground. It was all right there.
Yeah.
And they didn't do any of it.
This character can make everything right again. You know how you say we really can't fix it once it's broken? This thing resets everything to where they want that character to come back, and he can be even more over if they just show some patience and some balls and turn around and say, no, we're going to do this. I mean, I don't understand. Like, Fox has the Family Guy stuff, which is, calling out Kevin Spacey for raping kids in his basement, and throws all this other shit and shade on Hollywood and other things that are much bigger than WWE. What's the other one? American Dad. Every other Seth MacFarlane show and other stuff.
Which makes it more of a consuming.
Sorry.
That's all right. I thought it was one of those, but we were watching Paranormal Caught on Tape and evil ghost voicemails coming through. It just doesn't make any sense unless it's seriously, they're throwing it on the Fox executives because that's their new excuse for why they just don't want him to get over.
They don't want to do it. They
just
don't want to do it. The buck.
Vince could have saw it and go, I don't get this. No, I'm not doing this. Like, it could have literally aired and he saw it for the first time on Raw. And that was, I mean, you'd think that might not happen, but how many other things get by this guy?
Yeah, a lot, unfortunately. And we'll talk about all this tomorrow, too, on the locker room. I do have a conspiracy as I'm waiting for Sal to come on, and I was kind of blown away because GGP, you weren't in the locker room when this went down, and I almost should ask permission, even though I'm, veteran status and it's us or whatever, but like, Dreamer told me a crazy conspiracy about ECW, and I don't know if I should stooge it here on the show or tell you guys off camera and then
tell us off camera.
Okay,
just to play it safe.
Yeah.
I think I overheard a little bit about it. Just before the match or after the match.
It was before your guys. It was before your guys' stuff.
Yeah, I think I heard a little bit because I was sitting right next to you, and then he stole Sal's jerky.
Yeah, that's the other part of it too. So we'll see about that. But we'll keep her rolling here, you guys, tonight. Appreciate you joining us. Twitch.tv/conspiracyhorseman, hackerhameen.podbean.com, and Russo's brand if I ever get the goddamn compression right so I don't have to upload a 13 gig file because I know you guys don't want to stream that on your phone. So I got to recompress all the last three shows.
You got a good mini compressor. It'd be fine.
Yeah, well, we do have a Frankie Zero email in the conspiracyhorseman@gmail.com mailbag tonight. So great telepathy from my tag team partner. As we're here, and he's sporting the Conspiracy Horseman shirt. Want to say a big shout out to everybody who's purchased from us recently, ProWrestlingTees.com/all of us, Stevie Richards, Ben Hameen, Greek God Papadon, and what's sales?
SEG shirts.
SEG shirts. I can never say Ali Graziano. So SEG shirts.
New Breaking Sal shirt is up there, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Awesome. And can't wait for the next episode of Breaking Sale, New Force Order, everything going strong, full force here at hackerhameen.podbean.com. Numbers are up as we rapidly approach 1 million downloads, probably by the middle of the next month here, is the way things go. And spread the word, and it'll happen quicker. We'll have some good giveaways and some fun stuff. So keep following us on Twitter and interacting with us wherever you are, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll get some fun stuff to you guys for all the support this year. But this is, it's not too expensive, but just renewed Podbean for the third year. This is the the third time it's gone up. Obviously, my first one, this is the first renewal, now the second one. So it's kind of nice to, that's $1 million. I think what we've done in the span of 2 years of podcasting on here. So impressive work from everyone.
You want to go
tonight? What are we talking? Shallow Hollow Earth here.
There he is. There he is.
DGP had sent
got him.
a video a week or two back, and there was all kinds of stuff.
You're Skyping out bad, Ben.
Yeah, bro, you're cutting in and out, dude.
Is he frozen?
Fuck you, Skype.
There he is. Yep, Skype. Fuck you. There he is. He's back.
Fuck you, Skype.
All right.
We got a gypsy in the house.
Fuck yeah, man. Got my pirate fight on. We're going today.
You look like Shane Douglas with the black and yellow.
That's right, pal. Where's that kid? I'm going to snap his neck again.
Want to thank XR Butcher, by the way, subscribed with Twitch Prime for 6 months, or 5 months down here.
Wow. Awesome. They said I was bending up, but I think it was because Sal was coming on. So let me know if I'm still bad. Steve, you could drop me. You could bring me back in.
You're good now. You're good now.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Big Sal looking good. Stevie Van Zandt tonight, baby. Down at the Bada Bing later with all the ladies. Stage 2. Get Thelma back up there.
How you feeling, bud?
Much, much better. I have a voice again, which is, if somebody who talks a lot is very hard. When you can't fucking clear your throat, you're like, Yeah, that's how it was, man.
That's not like Wrestling Observer Radio, actually. You can pay $12 a month for that kind of coughing and stammering.
All I kept thinking about was, like, I literally till like 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, I'm going, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. By the time I get there, it'll be all good. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. And all I just kept thinking about was hitting the cough button every 4 seconds. And then missing.
Man, it is a 4-hour show.
And then missing the cough button, and all you heard was coughing. You never heard any of my talking. Fucking pull a Bob Uecker and be like, oh, this fucking thing is killing me.
Stevie, you want to drop me and bring me back in? I keep stalling over on here.
You're fine on my end, but I'll do that. Let me bring you back.
I'll drop you like a bad habit.
There you go. Bring him back.
You resurrect him, man? Like at the video game?
Resurrect him.
Yeah. You kill him and they'll bring him back.
That's right. What was that? What the hell was that? I forget already.
I keep saying perdition game. Far Cry
5. What was it? Kill, revive, repeat?
Yeah, shoot, revive, repeat.
I hope you guys don't turn around and get heat on me just because they fucking brought me back in here. What the fuck? But there's nobody safe in the locker room. As Sal, I had to say, it wasn't safe. I came back in, got hit with a kendo stick, had to go see the doctor. Doctor checked me out, cleared me. I came back in the locker room, and there he was, down on all fours, like a pig looking for truffles, rooting around in your bag, just ripping at my bag with his teeth.
And, like if it was Sandman, you'd be like, "What do I got? Gimmicks in there?" But you knew you had jerky in there, so it was Dreamer.
Yep, and he was down there, and I tried to get close to him. He snarled at me. I had to back up. He lashed. Yeah, he lashed out, and it was too late at that point. It was gone. God. It was a lost cause. So Dreamer, he got your jerky, bud.
There's a lot of fucking heat going on there.
I mean, we got the win over him. We got the win, and then he screwed me over. But
did we?
No, not really. At the end of the day, no. So
I feel bad for letting you guys down. I feel bad. I feel I've let you down. The infection that came
It's okay. You're here now. That's all that matters. It could be
Awful.
worse. You could be gone and the jerky could be here.
Yeah. You look super white tonight, though.
Super white.
Yeah. You can tell you've been sick and like you're just getting better on the mend. Like you look like Casper with fucking Stevens.
You look like Seven from WCW.
Yeah.
So all day, I don't know, been hearing all kinds of news and everybody, and I haven't been able to stay on top of what you guys were talking about until my drive home. I was trying to catch up.
Well, there was a couple things that were newsworthy before we talk. I want to do a little something imaginative, but we're so ingrained in the news, whether it's New Zealand or Julian Assange dump. We could go back and do 3 shows on just that Julian Assange dump alone, right? Already Notre Dame's in the purview, and so they can get away with that fucking money. And then we have this Sri Lankan massacre, possibly, false flag there, because, that's kind of, let's set it off with India and Pakistan. And that's an easy place to do it and blame it on some other shit. And, that's just lighting the fuse on something. And also it's very heavily kayfabe from the news, from what it would be that I thought in the news cycle. And then Stevie also sent along that the fucking Pope pardoned that one priest convicted of 200 molestations.
Fucking
and I thought, let's call Chainsaw, get her on there. And how about we come up with a new show called Priest Hunter, where it's kind of like,
let's do it.
It's kind of like To Catch a Predator, but we go on the fucking hunt to corner them, to ask them to their face what they think they can do in this life, and they think they're going to burn in hell or whatever, and whatever that's going to make them shit their pants. We've come up with that. But Priest Hunter, I think, would be a fucking fun show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Seriously, I don't think we would need the props. We would need probably like a 4-year-old under a box with a stick. And that's pretty much it, right?
I think that'd be a good episode. We might get 1 or 2 like that.
Why don't we do the thing like that? Why don't we do the thing like that when that midget was supposed to look like a kid outside the school? We just get a midget wrestler.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. We'll have Ben will dress up as like a priest.
Yeah.
I'll get in there.
Then when the priest grabs him, be like, "Hey brother, what the fuck? Hey brother, the fuck off me!" And then
he could be our first decoy.
If I got
Churches of Red Hook, New York. Here we come.
I'll dress up like a little 1920s kid with suspenders and a bow tie and a little hat and lollipop. I'll just stand out on there.
A couple things I saw in the news today. One was the ISIS declared that they're the ones who bombed the church. Yeah. And they all lined up. They were all wearing black. They looked like the Knights of Ren. I was like, wow. Second thing that I saw was that fat man baby screaming on a bullhorn about free Julian Assange in front of the White House. Yeah. Was it Alex Jones? Mm-hmm. So that's it.
Yeah, but even that's like slow out of the news cycle. We've seen a couple times in the chat. Dylan Bostic beat the devil and the Easter Bunny and sent the devil back to hell in a casket match at Pat McAfee Studios. So it was a big day for Jesus actually came and helped Dylan Bostic get his comeback, put him on a lift and lifted him to the sky so he could do the off-the-top gimmick too. So they had it all. It was quite an Easter fest. Stevie, did you find all the eggs?
I did, the multicolored eggs that Satan brought for the Sunday. It's funny now because I anytime I want to try to find a church to start going to, because I still am a Christian and I'm still trying to find.
You mean an Easter worshiper?
What's that? An Easter worshiper?
You are that Easter worshiper.
Mm-hmm. All right, but somebody's fucking all that up here. Like 2 other guys, 2 friends of mine, kind of screwing that up. No, because you know what? Talking about the church stuff, it's like the rebuilding Notre Dame just for instead of helping the poor, and even Fit Finley tweeted out something that I retweeted about that whole thing. Like, hey, I get it, but come on, there's lots of poor people in the world. $2 billion can help out a lot, just right there in France. Just the audacity and just the arrogance and just the the ego, everything that Christianity is not supposed to stand for. It's supposed to be about being meek, being humble, the vow of poverty for these priests and the people in the church. We're not getting any of that. So I just can't. I just can't do it. I can't go and see the phony fucks at church that's in the eyes of the church sin 6 days a week and think, well, this is the monopoly board where I get out of jail free because I can go to church on Sunday and be a fucking cocksucker for the other 6 days, figuratively and literally, probably. So what?
Them the rules.
I told you it's never leaving.
You just throw those Satan eggs at the dirty sinners.
Well, I feel like we've made real progress here today already.
Really? For people that don't know what we're talking about, there's the coloring of the Easter eggs is actually based in basically the blood of children, essentially, right?
Well, basically, eggs represent children, and the children are the eggs, and people were eating them and devouring them. Supposed to be the pagan rituals where they would just eat babies. So they've turned into Easter.
But what is
somehow.
that? What is the pagan ritual? We've covered this before, so let's not leave that out.
Well, it was the whole, you sacrifice children, kind of.
But it's Saturnalia.
Saturnalia.
That's what the god there.
Kind of.
Right?
Half stab.
I only stabbed you for half damage. You're fine.
All right. Right. It's because supposedly as we moved into our own heliocentric orbit before, when Saturn was our sun and would devour other planets, whether it was a wormwood thing as we moved through the universe, and now things that are symbolic of child eating, which that's one of them, obviously, and even you could even argue eating a Cadbury egg is. So I think it's all. When people just write it off as paganism, there's a lot more especially when it goes into Saturnalia stuff.
Basically, it's a wide stroke is what I based it with. What about
What's the name of the god? What's the name of the god that ate his kids? Cronus.
Yeah. What about in?
It's his time. So there you go.
What is it in Switzerland? They got that giant statue of the dude chomping down babies. And I sent it to you guys, and it was like, what the fuck? And then you ask anybody, and everybody knows. They're like, they all blow it off. They're like, that's something. They all fucking blow it off. So it's just one of those things of like.
Just like how you blow off the Shiva statue in front of Sharon. That's preposterous.
It's just
like you blow off your bookings on the weekend when we needed you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well, speaking of blowing, what about the one statue of the little kid on his knees with the guy pulling his head into his crotch?
Yeah, good stuff.
Fuck, man.
Real quality artwork.
Great.
So I think Priest Hunter would be good. I mean, we could hit all those spots. That just those images alone of statues would be enough.
What happened?
I keep losing you guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're fine. You've been for a second.
Did I? Oh man.
Wait, where was that statue with the kid on his knees getting his hair pulled?
That's in the Vatican City, I think.
Really?
There's lots of stuff in Vatican City and statues and all sorts of Illuminati symbolism and shit like that. It's crazy.
And to all the people out there who think that we're nuts because we think that Pedalgate or Pizzagate's real and that they're not, that the Obamas and the Clintons are part of a satanic cult, they kind of just showed their cards by can't even saying the word Christian on Twitter and calling everybody Easter worshipers.
Yeah, that was interesting, right?
50 Democrats couldn't even do it. They listed all the tweets on this one Facebook group. I mean, every 50 of them called them all Easter worshipers. You don't think they're putting on a narrative?
Stupid fuckheads.
And doesn't that lend itself to the false flag of everything's already set up to push a narrative of anti-Christianity, like of what they're trying to do, promote everything that way. And it's so, when they get called out, they don't have any answer for it. They just fucking no-sell and sweep under the rug onto the next thing. Because they got their little piece of business done, their little word that was going to be that came out of their think tank. They probably paid $300,000 to $2 million just to some think tank in D.C. or New York City firm to say, what are we going to do if we need a non-binary word that's not going to offend, that will take the religious sting out of Easter without it being Christian?
Yeah, how could we
Dude,
de-religious
there
this
were
religious
meetings
thing?
like that. There were meetings where that happened.
I just can't fucking
Well,
stand
I think
them.
we need to start our own think tank and get paid.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about basically they're talking about it like a marketing campaign, much like they did in the babies in the incubators type PR thing with the girl. It's no difference. It's all advertising boardroom type atmosphere, right?
Yep. 110%, man. It's all methodically plotted to push to be the details in a greater narrative. So when you just see it in the 30-second news cycle, it's there and it's subconscious, and you might think it's out of your mind and you're on to the next thing that's important in your life, but it still impacted you a little bit. And that's what a true psyop is a multi-pronged attack like that. And whether it's through your music, your visual media, what you're reading, narratives, editorials, commercials, all are going to push that. And when you're fed that message constantly, video games, obviously too, constantly, you're just going to end up being under a loose type of mind control.
I'm going to give you a quick thing of sometimes they win a lot of battles, but sometimes these little battles are just too entertaining and juicy to pass up. Vegan feminist cafe that imposed 18% gender surcharge on men closes down.
Yes.
He's like that. You want to be talking about pushing a narrative, you know what I mean? Pushing the agenda a little bit too far. And
I really would love to be the guy with a fucking one of those rolling hot dog carts and just park right in front of the place and be like, as the close signs going up.
Would you wear the Al Bundy "No Ma'am" shirts?
Oh, I would wear all of it. I would wear the Al
absolutely.
Bundy shirt. I would wear the fucking penis hat that I will make because I have to. Yeah, it would just, fuck them.
But I'll tell you what's even worse, what's going to happen is look how viral that story went. Here comes the whole GoFundMe campaign to save the place, or the owners had this much cost. Can we raise $30,000? And they'll end up raising $700,000 from the non-binary SJW lesbian community who fucking just can't allow this to happen and let the other ones win. You know what I mean? And they'll walk away with $700,000 free and clear.
Or it'll be, Hillary will she'll come and donate and be like, these brave young women.
Yeah. Oh man.
They have to rebrand their whole child trafficking ring from a pizzeria to a vegan shop now. So, they'll donate a little money, just like in Goodfellas when he invests in the restaurant and the restaurant goes under.
Right. Move it in the front, out the back.
Exactly.
Oh, mango.
Oh, by the way, Sal, are you drinking out of Thor's Hammer?
Yes, this is a Milner water bottle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wait, there's not water in that. What's that? It's green, isn't it? Is that green?
It happened. There's a little color to it.
That'll knock the cold right out of you.
It's got to do something, man.
So, with all this being said, and what we're going to get to, I guess for the meat of the show, if people don't know, we're going to something what we consider to be a little more creative, a little bit more fun than people getting shot, which the news and the false flags and all that bullshit. Talking about Hollow Earth, which we didn't really touch on because we've touched on Flat Earth maybe 2 or 3 times.
Well, we've talked about Admiral Byrd in Antarctica, and that's part of it, but it's not really the full scope of what we've done. And we danced around it with, like you said, Flat Earth with the Freemasons flag when it comes to lands that may be outside of the ice wall.
Yeah, I think that's where we stopped because we said it could be this, but then it was always a Flat Earth episode. But I'll tell you what, man, this has a lot more traction. Did we lost Poppin on? He's had
Poppin
enough.
was like, "Fuck you and Hollow Earth."
Fuck you, Hollow Earth.
Assholes.
This podcast is hollow. See you later.
Just like Easter eggs and chocolate bunnies. Fuck you, people. I'm out.
Probably thought he was answering a text and he hit hang up on the computer. But here he is. He's back. We got him back. There he is. All right. Can you hear me? Popping on?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Skype. Yeah, Skype. Skype is acting up weird, dude.
Fuck you, Skype.
Fucking Skype, bitch.
We got to move to Discord or Hangouts for temporarily to see what we can do with that. But I got to say, in the Hollow Earth, watching the documentaries that Papa On had sent, there was probably 4 or 5. I didn't even get through all of them, but they all had pretty good information on them. It's based a lot more in scientific fact. It's not such a fringe conspiracy theory, from what I found out. There's a lot more scientists that kind of like lean towards this is the model.
Well, the other thing too with Bird that kills him is you would want to be able, like, that name doesn't get bandied about anymore except for in conspiracy theory realms. But if you go back and watch, this motherfucker is Mr. Ticker Tape Parade, like right out of the goddamn silver screen era.
He was a superhero, man.
He was the fucking man, dude. Like Chuck Norris would get his ass whipped by him back in the day.
He's the original Birdman.
Yeah. So he, like, that's no bullshit. I mean, this guy is, exploring the world, fighting, not beating the Nazis, the whole nine. Or, if he was that high up, he may have been in on getting the Nazis out of the country too. Now that I think about it,
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So he's fucking pretty well over and doing what he wants when he goes, I want to go exploring and do Operation High Jump and all this shit. And they're like, yeah, go ahead, take 200 guys and a couple ships. Go do what you want, bro. So
yeah,
that's
why would he need that if it was only for exploring? It wasn't exploring.
That
there was
was
a lot more to it.
That was his second trip after he had taken his flight.
And after
I know that.
Yeah, after he saw some shit. So, but like, my point is, therefore, we even get into it is like, it's not like they can dispel, and I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but Corey Good, way easier to dispel Corey Good, who says he's in a secret space NASA program with transportation, teleportation to and from, and that he's been in the underground cities inside Hollow Earth, as opposed to Admiral Byrd, a top military guy. Now, maybe that's just us getting worked by the military now that I think about it too, to play both sides of the coin.
I mean, could very well be, but at the same time, I don't think back then when it occurred, what was it, 1930s, that this whole thing went down with Operation High Jump?
That was 49, but his first thing where he flew was earlier.
All right. Well, I don't think they were savvy enough to try to, because back then no one questioned anything. They just went with the narrative.
Yeah. And, he puts over, and how the information comes out, released by his son after he was already passed away from a secret diary that he had written there, because all of his military notes would have had to actually been, in report filed. And some of the shit was just too much where he knew it was going to get, nope, fuck that. That'll never get out. So he's keeping secret captain's log here, telling, what's going on, where his plane actually gets caught in a tractor beam and, like, take me to your leader type shit, where he's taken there and told, careful about nukes, the whole nine. And other people who say they've been there, who happen to stumble upon, don't want to leave. They don't really get ushered out, but their tales are very different. 12-foot tall people, another civilization of people living there together with them, also hybrid humans, spaceships, advanced flying around. But before we even get into the Hollow Earth, what Byrd had said is he gets to the North Pole and goes beyond, and all of a sudden there's green, lush forests and mountainous regions all of a sudden, after what we are shown in images from NASA is all ice up there. This story doesn't jive with it at all.
There's lots of different stuff. There's lots of different things that were put across in the one documentary talking about the birds flying north at times when it would just be insanely cold up there in the Arctic, but they do it every year. So where do they go? And then there's the theme, which I'll go back and forth about, this one girl who's some kind of scientist or whatever that just dispels everything as an anomaly. What is she?
Oh, is she dead?
No, the girl. No, her brain is. No, the girl that kept saying every time that someone brought up a valid point or about the birds or even the Vikings that traveled, just packed up and went. she was like, well, it could have been this, or it could just be an anomaly.
It's preposterous.
Pretty much. It's like
Well,
she said nothing, but she dispelled it.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to gloss over the bird thing, man, because that's not like a navigator or a human thing. Like you're going to hook them to a lie detector and get
things,
perched.
stuff like that.
Like the bird's like, let's fly up here and work them. They'll think something's up here. You know what I mean? They're not just going to do it. That's true nature. And me as an atheist thinking you're just an animal on this planet. When you take cues from nature and see what's going on there, that's an undeniable thing that there has to be something leading that way.
A couple of things that I found out that I found very interesting about this whole scenario is that, number one, there's two North Poles. You have the North Pole and the magnetic North Pole, and supposedly the opening to the underworld, if you will, or inner Earth, or whatever you want to call it, is in between those two poles. That's the first thing I found very interesting. Second thing I found very interesting was that the Antarctica, the actual, it's 5.4 million miles wide, or whatever it was, kilometers, or whatever the hell it was. The distance of Antarctica measured identical to the distance of the Arctic Sea on the North Pole, tit for tat. It might be a mile or two shorter, but the fact that the top of the world and the bottom of the world is exactly the same, and the fact that people might be saying, "Oh, it's no big deal," but in actuality, it is, because I found out that in 2006 there was a law passed called the David Denial Act, and in this act, you are not allowed by law to show anything above the 60th parallel of the globe, which means that you can't show the world, from a top point of view.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I never knew that.
Yeah, I found that out. Blew my mind. And the fact that you're not allowed to fly over. That was
2006?
Yeah, the David Denial Act. And the fact that you're not allowed to fly over the North Pole or the Southern Pole, or you get shut down at all. It's a no-fly zone at all. No 747, no military jets, going rogue, can't fly over at all unless you get permission. So it's a little funny. It's a little funky. I mean, there's, when there's smoke, there's fire with those situations. I don't see why we're not allowed to see certain things from a certain point of view.
David
Denial.
The guy's name.
2006.
David. Who was David? Do you know?
Papa?
Do we know? Do we know who David was? Who that's named after? Because the only thing I saw that was supposedly the real footage was from Space Station 1987, Russian space station, as it cast down, and you can see what looks like kind of that cyclone cylinder where it's going down into a point where there's light escaping out of the pole. And it's very shitty 1987, but it's there. You can find it. And we talked about this kind of off camera before we came on. GGP said we were having trouble finding things because this has been scrubbed much like Flat Earth has as well. And why, as we talk about as workers, would you do that? Because you're just giving away that you have something to hide there instead of just being able to paint the wide brush of, oh, those crazy motherfuckers. Let them believe 6 or 7 things. Let them believe box Earth, triangle Earth, whatever they want. The more they do it, it's whatever. And it helps their narrative of concealing of a possible hollow Earth here. Why are they selling for that?
I put it up here, by the way, on the Twitch channel for everybody. Okay. The picture from Secure Team 10. So it's pretty valid, as far as someone turning it in, you can see the hole. Yeah.
And we've seen these types of holes in lakes, in a lot of places where it's almost like a sinkhole and the water's going straight down in. Sure, it's going into maybe some huge underground lake or reservoir, but what if it's not? What if it is going into this underworld and it's these tunnels collapsing all that way there? But what do you think about the space shot?
To be honest, that's crazy to know, like, to hear that you're not allowed to take. I'm still stuck on that I had no idea there was a law.
Me neither.
Like, we all knew that you're not allowed there without, you need permission and licenses and all that other bullshit.
Can I just say, I was wondering if it was David's law because what if that was stooged off around 2006 on YouTube, and they're like, fuck that, we can't have that out there, so we're making this law, because that's when the internet shit started getting really hot, right around then.
Well, now what I kind of looked into it, because here's the deal. Just a quick synopsis is I don't believe Hollow Earth. I believe pockets. I don't know what you guys consider Hollow Earth, like the whole thing or just a core. I believe there are parts. There are pockets. I think there are thermal pockets underneath the ice, because the world used to be a lot warmer 5,000 years ago, right? Wasn't it? I feel like there was a different thing. It got much colder within the past, I think it was 7,000 years, or depending on, maybe if you read the Bible, it's like 2 or 3. But to me, there was a whole thing. Stevie brought up the Vikings earlier, but there was I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, and
they're the Viking Raiders this week. But go ahead.
I'll chop up the guy's name, but it's a Turkish explorer who had a map with Antarctica on it from 1519.
Mm-hmm.
And a British sailor saw it, and that's what started this whole bullshit. He was like, well, how the fuck do they know? We just found Antarctica, a couple hundred, and he's like, nope, check this shit out. And that's what got him all looking.
Piri Reis map?
Is that Piri Reis? I couldn't remember his name. Pee Wee Reese, whatever the fuck his name is. And
sounds like a baseball player.
It is the baseball player.
So I feel like maybe the world was warmer back then. So doing that, all those guys, and they said guys from Africa, from Turkey, from all these other ships that were going out, had a chance to see that coastline, and maybe did a circumvent around it. And I'm not saying it wasn't cold, but I don't think it was what it is now.
I got a question to ask you two guys. You guys were in Kentucky for quite some time. You guys ever went into that big cave that everyone talks about in Kentucky? That
What was her name, Ben?
What was that? Peter Griffin, I think.
Only Tank went into that cave with a helmet.
Yeah. What?
You know what I'm talking about?
Mammoth Cave. I haven't.
Mammoth Cave.
My wife went there when she was younger, but we just went to Howe Caverns, and that was pretty interesting. And now I'm thinking of it differently as I look at it, hindsight 2020. I want to go to Mammoth in Kentucky now, because people say that is a place where you can go. In the videos we watch, supposedly the legend is it's a 15-day journey through the caverns to get to this next level of Hollow Earth. If you were to walk it, it's like a 15-day journey. But when I was at Howe Cavern,
how is that possible?
Well, how long does it take you to walk 15 miles? Or I mean, how many miles can you walk in a day, really, through a cave?
No, but I'm saying that if someone went down there, would they come back and they were able to tell the story? How do they know it took 15 days to get to the Hollow Earth?
Mm-hmm.
And who's this?
This father and son, before Admiral Byrd, who were
Vincent Shane.
Yeah, it was Vincent. Yeah, we went in there, we rocked it.
We hollowed it out, fella.
But it was father and son who went in there, and they didn't want to come back either. They came back in the boat and supposedly hit an iceberg, and the son was saved. But they're the ones who say it takes 15 days to walk from that cavern through it out there. It was in one of the videos that you had sent earlier in the week.
Gotcha.
But that's from through land and through the cave master that supposedly the leader told them that, or whatever the fuck, whoever they are. There's all these sub cities and subcultures. Agartha's the main one, and then there's Lesser Semel or some shit like that. There's all these different ones. It's the earth inside. It's not like it's going to be the size of New York. It's going to fucking be a little bit smaller version of the planet, right? But what was crazy, and I'm going back to who said what on this that makes it legit. The next one in line was Andrew Haley from Haley's Comet.
Yep.
And he was not a dumb motherfucker, obviously, at the time. Spotted the comet, had the trajectory of when it should have come estimated, and boom, there it was again. However, I might defer to Sal, too, on that of do these great minds, are they in touch with something telepathy wise, whether they're fiction tellers or there's something astrological going on? Possibly. He's made that point before. But he showed the Earth as kind of like multiple layers where, say, you had to, whatever, a couple hundred miles in between them, and then there'd be a whole nother atmosphere, and what they said was a pale sun inside of our Earth, and then there was even another inner layer from that. Now, that he drew it out, it's easy to find his drawings of that. Interesting when we've got another science genius as well as a war hero as our two main credible sources of the time before everything gets kayfabed.
Well, the way I see it, okay, so Admiral Byrd basically gets what he wants. He does whatever the fuck he wants. They give him carte blanche. You need boats, we'll give you boats. You want planes, we'll give you planes. Now, despite all didn't he lose a bunch of planes, a bunch of boats the first time?
They got attacked down by Nazi fucking UFOs.
Right. So, again, none of that gets brought up. None of it gets mentioned, talked about. Oh, hey, they went back looking for this. Like, he went back, Papa Don, you would ask, well, what do you need that for if you're going to explore? Well, fuck, we got shot the fuck down last time, and we had a decent-sized group with us.
No. The first time he went and flew over, saw everything, went back with military backup, got Big Brother, and that's when they got shut down. They were supposed to do an expedition. I think it took like 8 months. They were back in 3 because they lost like 2/3 of the crew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They never talk about it. Nothing's ever mentioned of
course not,
who these people were. Like, think about that. Let's just say one aircraft carrier. One. We lost one. How many dudes are on that ship?
Yeah, well, if it's the Japanese attacking Pearl Harbor and it's on camera, as opposed to the Nazis working with under-Earth ex-alien entities, possibly avians, who they now have sick-ass technology, and the only reason they shoot you down is to keep their secret. That's a whole different fucking ball of wax to spin. I would sweep that under the fucking rug double quick, too.
But this is my point of, okay, so no offense to anybody, but somebody dies digging a latrine, their name gets thrown up on every wall, everywhere, as this guy was a veteran.
Yeah.
You lost an entire aircraft carrier full of men, and not one wife, child, sister, brother, father has been like, where the fuck is my husband? Where's my son? Where's my kid? Like, nothing. So did they pay off all of those people? Or was it just they died in war and just you don't know where they were?
Yep.
Oh, yes, nobody got any kind of reparations or money for that. Just like today, like for fighting the wars they're fighting now for corporations, they're not gonna pay. They might pay for the funeral. That's about it. But they're not paying them off to shut up. They don't know. The interesting thing is they did go initially as an exploratory, scientific mission. Right. I don't think it was Admiral Byrd who turned around and said, because like you said, he talked to these people. When they finally went back with the military mission, I think it was the government, the CIA, whatever it was, saying, that place needs freedom. We got to bring freedom to that place.
We have to liberate those motherfuckers.
Well, because they could have went in, the interesting twist on this is, too, obviously the fact that these people and what they're described as is like Hitler's wet dream. So, like, the fact that he said this is the perfect race, but never alluded to these type of people, but in conspiracy theory realms, he's connected to this because of Nazi UFOs. It's very interesting how
that's why he was obsessed with Tibet too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's supposedly the Dalai Lama. The Tibetans protect a fucking, the 15-mile walk to the Middle Earth to get to these people that pass on this knowledge to the Dalai Lama, and that's one of the best kept secrets in the Tibetan monk code or whatever.
Quick, now I don't know if I'm making it up or if I remember this from we've had conversations. Didn't a bunch of U-boats show up in South America, and they were like, "Where'd you guys come from?" They're like, "Antarctica."
Yeah,
like they got fucking
that's
redirected. They're like, we give up.
Yeah, it's like scientific. Fucking, maybe the first time with Byrd, but is he really a scientist? No, that's a fucking eye in the sky mission, and holy fuck, we got caught, and we heard they were working with aliens down there. Byrd, who are we gonna send? Call the fucking Birdman. Birdman's got this motherfucker, he takes off, and he goes and sees it, and they get fucked over. Birdman comes back, goes, "Give me the fucking posse. We're going back to get." Maybe those are the Nazis that they couldn't convince to come over and work and start NASA, and those are the guys who were like, "Fuck you, we're gonna drop back and we're gonna come back and kick your ass again."
So we got the scrub fucking scientist that didn't know shit, right? Couldn't even get to the moon,
right? Is it plausible? And they send in Bird to try and fucking clean it up, but the aliens are like, "Fuck you, homie," and they take out half of them or 2/3 of them.
Because think about it. Why do you send the guy with the big John Wayne nuts guy?
Right.
Why
he's the dude, right? Yeah. He's the ticker tape dude.
Right. So why? Yeah.
About the Nazis, wasn't the whole big gimmick from Hitler the supreme race was all blonde hair, blue eyes? I mean, the guy didn't have blonde hair or blue eyes, and he was the leader of the group. Isn't it coincidental that the Nordic aliens are the ones who are all blonde hair, blue eyes? I mean,
yes. And he tried to do a whole propaganda campaign to tie back through Tibetan that they were the first as well. That's the combination of the modern man was because of that. But really, I think that was just a way to get in Tibet to look for all the lore that he looked at, whether it was, he was looking for it. Was just because it's Raiders of the Lost Ark doesn't mean it's a movie. He was looking for all that shit. Cup of Christ, the spear,
Longinus. He was going for all that shit. Like we were just saying in the chat room, he was an occult fuckhead. And if he wasn't, we might not have won because he was too busy listening to his astronomers and the Thule Society and all those cats going, "Oh, today's a bad day, Hitler. Don't do it." And he's 9. We stay in bed today, and then he fucked all that shit up.
Not knowing that the worst was yet to come. At least,
did we win?
No, we didn't. Hell Hydra. No, seriously. You think that's not some kind of like truth in movies, truth in fiction type stuff? That whole thing of being a Hydra embedded in the government with senators and congressmen and the military.
We fucking flushed half of them over here after they were done. They didn't lose. They were snappy dressers and then they got their shit over.
This is essentially in wrestling, two guys backstage, the babyface and the heel, and basically says, "I hate you because you're an American," and then the other goes, "I hate you because you killed 6 million Jews, but let's team up and win the tag titles tonight." Right?
Yeah. Super handshake. Let's do it.
By the way, let's do Ben. Are you up for some Nazi shoot theater? If Hitler were Vince and he was talking about like trying to get over with these aliens, what would he do? Give people a bonus.
Hitler's trying to get over with the aliens.
He's Vince, though. You don't have to imitate Hitler.
Oh man, this is tough. Vince is Hitler.
All you gotta do is be Vince. You don't have to fucking. It's not too far of a stretch.
Oh yeah, yeah, mine hair. Yeah, look at you over there with your giant head and your little spinning bell there. I think I might put that. Hey, can you raise your little hand and point at the sign for WrestleMania, pal? Yeah. All right, take me to your underworld. Take me to your leader. Wait, where's my pants? God damn it, I can't get on this thing without my pants on. All right, let's get a picture. Stand on my book, Mein Kampf. Stand right here.
Hey, pal, we're gonna call it the Operation Paperclip Experience.
We'll call you Space Buddies this week. Space Buddies or Space Buddies.
Yeah, Hell Hydra. I'm with that gimmick too, pal. Yeah, Triple H, Heimlich Himmler, Hunter Himmler.
Hey, look at that big Aryan thing. I can make he's next Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I'll show you how to make a Superman, pal. God damn it, I'll make a champion. If I can't find one, I'll make one. Give me that guy in here. What's his name? Dr. Mengele. Yeah, and maybe the Nazis could save WWE at this point. Who knows?
Dr. Mengele is passing out all the gas to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck, I meant steroids.
We need Skull Von Crush here. That's what we
Triple
need.
H, you've tested positive for Zyklon B. All right. It's like coughing to the mic.
Zyklon Pro.
Oh, man. So, after this is kind of laid down of those two guys. The next bit of proof I liked out of this, unless anybody has anything they want to add to this before I move on, because it's a little bit of a jump forward in time. Okay.
Let me think. No, there's just you kind of skimmed over Haley. And
okay.
I think they called him either Edward or Edmund Haley when they're talking about, but this is a
Alex
scientist.
Haley was a civil rights
Didn't he write
activist. I knew I got his first name wrong.
He dabbled a little bit in Hollow Earth. He's like this was a scientist back in the late 80s. This is what the Halley's Comet is named after, of Heaven's Gate fame. So they probably
No, it's the Hale-Bopp comet.
That's Hale-Bopp comet.
Oh, okay. Haley's. All right. Sorry. Messed up.
Haley's
The
named
Mandela
after
effect.
Hillary Duff.
You guys are all over the place.
Mandela effect mixed with CTE. We need to go back and ask Vince what to do. No, what I'm saying is, like, the fact that scientists, and from his point until now, there's even scientists that are saying, without being really scoffed at, like the flat earth people, or the people even doubt the shape of the earth or the heliocentric model, these people are not being scoffed. They're kind of just being ignored, which is really kind of suspect in itself.
Yep.
See, now my question, that's my initial thought. Like, if they just wanted to just keep this quiet, just why send anybody anyway? You know what I mean? Like, just why not?
They
just
sent them
kibosh
there
it?
because of the Nazis, dude, just to get rid of them and make sure. But then when they got their ass kicked and they got jobbed out, they're like, "Oh, kayfabe, we can't let the world
Right.
know we just lost the Nazis."
Exactly. Yeah. And the base is still there, right? Possibly. We have the treaty. No one can go there. So there's like, let's shut that place down. And then here we are with whatever, with ISS from space. And do we ever get any real image of the poles? And they might put something out that looks
They put
like
a cloud over it.
the northern lights, and they put a dot over where the light would originate from. So, like, they suck at fabing. Instead of just not showing it, they try and paint some lie that's easily deconstructed. And as what you don't tell us stacks up with what you show us that we can show you as bullshit, it makes your official story seem weaker and weaker. And not that any of us are flat earthers, but we've been through this argument of a lot of what they say can be disproven. And gravity plays a big part into this hollow earth bit as well. Where they believe it's a lot more about time, motion, and air pressure, and gravity isn't a real thing.
Well, Einstein said gravity wasn't a real thing either. He said
Right.
it was more of magnetic.
So here we have Einstein, Bird, and Haley. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know how they say how gravity pulls you down to the earth, and that's how we're not floating into space. Well, Einstein and now a lot of other theorists are saying that it's more of the magnetic field pushing us down as opposed to getting pulled down, and that gravity was never real to begin with. So who knows what's true as far as science is concerned. Again, I'm going to state this. It's just like a hokey religion. It's all fucking made up, presented with facts only because it comes from Harvard or Yale and they're wearing lab coats or whatever the case may be. But the one thing that I also find very suspicious, if you will, is that every group around the world in the past, every culture has a story of a flood, and we all agree that there was some kind of world flood. Well, every culture, every society from the past also has a story of the underworld, whether it's called Hades in Greek or whatever the case, the Mayans or Indians, meaning from India, you know, or the Middle Easterns. They all have some kind of story of where people would go venture into the earth for some sort of reason, when they die or whatever the case may be. They're looking for knowledge. Even Plato himself has spoken about in the past about going into inner earth. So
what was the show we did with the European weird Satan worshiper caverns, where remember that you could cross over once you went over the river, you were then on your way into Middle Earth at that time?
River Styx, yeah.
River Styx, yeah.
Great band.
Well, the whole thing with the
No sold out.
Everyone
yeah,
did.
sorry,
I missed it.
I missed it too.
I said Styx was a great band. Forget it.
No,
That was probably for me.
Yes, it was.
Actually, I remember them.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't an adult when I listened to them either, so I just want to let you know that. But you know, this whole thing too with the hollow earth and the way gravity can work in a hollow earth model would explain water. it would dispel the flat Earth theory because the water would be pulled into the shape,
Right.
rather than the gravity. And they say everything like on this bottle, it's flat. That could account for that, and also the fact of the layers and the underworld and that paradise. Let's not forget too the story of the two children that the villagers they went through that 15-day journey or whatever.
Yes.
Into the cave, came out, they were in the village. They wouldn't eat any of the food because they weren't used to that. They finally found beans. They fed them beans. Eventually, they got accustomed to bread, but their diet was very different, and they were greenish because their level underneath was eternally twilight. And they told the story and eventually learned English. The kid never survived. The boy never survived and never got acclimated to the sun because they had never seen the sun before, according to the story. And then I don't know what happened to the girl and how long she lived, but there was a story that's passed around throughout many different cultures about these kids. So it's like Papadon said, and you guys said about there's always an underworld, there's always a different thing underneath the earth in every religion and belief. The story of these children coming through into that village is also a story that's carried on.
Mm-hmm. And what I found interesting in those videos, because, we always think we're so special and our story is different than anybody else. We can see these round planets, so why would we be flat? But if you want to go by that same logic, there's plenty of video of Saturn and Jupiter at the poles, and you can see concentric circles that look almost identical to what Halley mapped out. And you see them going in different ways. Some I think on Jupiter, there's 15 different opposite rotations as you go deeper in at the poles there. So are all planets, and this is what posed in those videos, are all planets hollow because of the way they're formed? Is there, as light and debris gets emitted from Saturn in the same way where it's kayfabe from us in our shots? Go ahead, Stevie.
I was just about to say that would probably maybe account and dispel the flat Earth theory with the flashing lights in the sky when they see the planets and the stars.
Sure.
Just saying, we're trying to kind of like connect these and try to make sense of it on one way or the other, because when you look at the heliocentric model, there's certain holes in that. When you look at the flat Earth model, there's certain holes in that. This hollow Earth theory seems to merge both of those, and it all lines up a lot better.
And there's proof of, if this is how planets are made, this is a big, huge hypothesis here. And we can see that at those poles. And this is what our greatest science minds from Einstein to Halley are telling us of that time when they're really studying that specifically. And then it's just pushed under, nope, here's the official story we're going with. We trust these guys and we put them over for everything else. But when it comes to this, fuck that, dude. But here's some evidence on video that from other planets that we can have crystal clear. We can't do it at our own planet. We can't show you that. But here's these other two that will show you backs up 100% exactly what these two fucking geniuses are talking about. And but we're different. We're special. Don't worry about it. You guys are special, everybody. Good job, everybody. Doing it our way. We do things differently, and we got it right. That's why there's no life on those. Like, it's just the bullshit story of it when here's the actual fucking proof, and you can watch the rings move counterclockwise, clockwise, and the next one in is counterclockwise, then clockwise. So if that is enough motion to kind of dispel gravity or to say, hey, something happens in the center of planets that is the real driving mechanism, why wouldn't we get a chance to look at that? Well, because we can't fly over the North Pole, as GGP said earlier.
Get a big shot, the big pullback shot, and there's a big scaffolding around the Earth. It's just been working on shit forever.
Work in progress.
Some people out there might say, well, no, and NASA has images of the Earth from certain angles. You could see the top of the Earth. You can see we're in the bottom of Antarctica. No, you can't, because in all these shots, they just Photoshop clouds over it, and you can't see the top of the North Pole ever. And it's not coincidental.
The clouds have been shown to be photoshopped. Maybe you can't find those videos, but we've seen them all where it shows one thing and then the actual digital photoshopping and After Effects of clouds from stock footage.
GGP, I remember back in 138, man, the globes Right on top, you had the little gimmick, and then right next to it, and like kind of covering it, was the big globe stamp that told where the fucking globe was made. Right on top on where the North Pole would be.
Someplace in Ohio, probably.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's interesting how we always get the same exact picture of the Earth, where you have to be straight on with the ball or the marble, but you can't go above or below it. But you can go to Saturn and get above and below Saturn and Jupiter. Like, why? That would be the coolest shot ever. Here's a top-down view of our Earth and what it looks like. Here's the bottom-up view. Why can't they do that?
It's not like,
orbiting.
Every seventh grade science project, everyone acts like we're all in one big circle and not. Dude, it's not that at all. It's a fucking big, huge twisted wind of that. So there's no reason that the space station can't turn the camera as the world spins. It's going to fucking go above it at one point or another. Where are these shots? The fact that none of this video is out there, that we have, like you said, of Jupiter, this high res shit, and we can't see our world that you can't go on cable right now and have 365 today live planet channel streamed where you can just watch the Earth. Why the fuck don't we have that? We absolutely should.
Just put a high 8 camera on the moon on a tripod and just let it go. Just let it go, and still can't do it.
Well, we destroyed that technology, Sal. Well, I would go back in a nanosecond.
I'm sorry. Now, this is what I was thinking. Now, you sent that article about rockets going 1,000,000 miles an hour. So do you think that's going to be the big work where they're going to be like, all right, we're going to show the first rocket that goes 1,000,000 miles an hour. Next, they're going to jump cut to something and go, we're here. We're right here. We're where we want to be. And it's in the studio. Here we are right here, guys. This is what we got. And there's going to be a jerk off on a corded phone going, yeah, we got it. We got it.
Talking to 1,000,000 miles away on a corded phone. Dude, what the fuck? How many G's is that? Going 1,000,000 miles an hour. How can you
I don't think your body can sustain that.
Well, it'll be like a pressurized cabin where you don't feel the pressure on that, where it deflects it off.
You're such a corporate shill. Shut up.
Wow. Fuck.
Listen, it's funny how if we look at the moon, we can see the bottom and the top of the moon, and it looks almost like a grapefruit that you buy at Stop and Shop, right? It's funny how we can see the black box on top of what is it, Saturn, right? And the bottom of the planet, it looks like there's 2 points, just like a basketball or a ball. Mm-hmm. Where it's funny how every planet has that, but ours doesn't. Right? And like you said, we can find a flea on Mars and we can see a freaking pimple on someone's ass on the moon, but we can't freaking take a picture of our own planet. So look, at the end of the day, if all the planets are around, we're around. We shot a nuke into the moon for some strange reason that hasn't been explained, and that fucking thing rang for hours because the moon is supposedly hollow. Pretty sure that our planet is hollow as well. In the middle of the planet, we'll probably have a core.
Yeah, that's good about the moon. I forgot about the big ring ding dong.
I'm pretty sure that our core is super white nova hot, and when something's that hot, it sends out light. So that's the sunlight the people underneath, or whoever, the lizard people, or whoever's living underneath, that's how they get their light, and that's how life is sustained.
Let's talk about that one, because we did talk about lizard people. Sorry, what, Stevie?
One quick fact here, because I want you to wrap your head around this. Mach 5 is 3,800 miles per hour.
Jesus Christ.
So what are the G's
of
1,000,000 miles an hour? What Mach is that, dude?
So let's just round it up, 4,000. So 4,000 into a million, or 4,000 into a million.
Hold on, let me get the calculator because Ben's going to fucking blow a gasket.
250,000. No, 225,000. So 25,000 G's.
It's so it's 65 million G's.
So 4,000 was 5 G's, so 25,000
250 G's.
No way, it'd be more than that.
I just did the math, dude.
That is what Sprint is going to offer us next year.
Times 5, though. Because 4,000 is 5 G's.
You take 1,000,000.
Yeah.
Right? You divide it by 4,000.
Correct.
Because that's 5 G's. It's 250.
Oh, because it is 5 G's. All right.
Fucking tell a Greek how to do math, dude. I'll fucking foreclose on your house.
Don't tell a Greek how to use a calculator.
Arabs invented math, so don't tell me.
So you do a million miles an hour. We can't even get through the Van Allen belts. The Orion project was shelved.
You can punch it at 20.
It doesn't matter. No, we don't need to get to the Van Allen belts.
Punch it to a million miles an hour.
Yeah,
let's punch it.
Don't you know the moon is in Earth's orbit now? Mm-hmm. It's not outside of Earth's orbit. It's in Earth's orbit. So it's before the Van Allen belts.
Now it moved it. Yeah. What I was going to say, remember when we talked about that cave with the lizard people in it, supposedly where the shootout went down?
Yep.
This is part of another video that earlier, I don't think it was in this last string we sent, but how the dumb bases supposedly all through America line up with underground tunnels that were discovered long before the dumb bases were made or any of the supposed underground subway in Denver area was made. And it goes, go ahead, Sal.
Dude Bud just realized right now and looked, he has an old globe. There is no fucking landmass in the Arctic. Just like on Google Maps, the Antarctic is totally there.
What?
That's on his globe right now. He's looking at his globe. There's no fucking landmass in the Arctic.
So in the north, there's no ice in the north, and on the
Antarctic
Pole,
is totally there.
That's a Mandela effect. The North Pole, I know, the North Pole used to be a piece of land. That's where Santa Claus lived. He came from the North Pole, but now the North Pole is just a point in the ocean. There's no landmass anymore. That's a huge Mandela effect. I remember growing up that the North Pole is very cold, and that's why Santa lives there.
Oh, yeah, dude, absolutely there was landmass there. And why, if there isn't, why can't we fly over it?
Same reason why we can't find. Same reason why we can't fly over Antarctica. Antarctica. And you know what? It's also very coincidental, quote unquote, that you have to have permits to go into caves. Right. And you can't go exploring.
Permits from who? Who do you have to get permits from? These are international waters.
The UN.
No,
right?
no.
You gotta get the UN.
Caves.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, you said though to fly over in the north. Who do you have to get permission from?
Oh, the UN.
Yeah, because remember back in the day when people were talking to us about shows and they wanted us to go to fucking Antarctica or wherever the fuck it was? Didn't they say they would get all the licenses and everything they needed?
Yeah. You have to get permission to go. And like these cruises that go by Antarctica, they have to get a license and a permission.
And I'm sure they don't go anywhere near anything in Antarctica. You go, oh, look, a fucking thing. There's Antarctica right there, guys.
Penguin. A polar bear. Okay, guys, that's $50,000. Right. Thank you.
What do you guys think about the dumb bases and how they line up as possibly, not Stargates, but as ways to get in?
I don't know what these bases did to you, but you keep calling them dumb. You're gonna hurt their feelings. Okay?
The dumb stands for Deep Underground Military Base. If you're fucking dumb and you don't know that, they're all over the U.S. In fact, there's one about 1.3 miles from my house, and or my silo underneath the ground, and they're a real deal. And were they made? This goes back to my Howe Caverns. I kind of got off on a tangent there. So in Howe Caverns, you go down this elevator, and I can't remember. Maybe it's like 8 floors below. Underground, and beautiful cave with walkway, and you go for a while, and then you come to this boat where you sit in this very still river, and they push down through it, and it's a big tourist game.
Is the Reaper?
What's that?
Is the Reaper pushing the boat? The guy dressed up as like
he should work that gimmick, but it's cool because you get to the end of the tunnel, and then they go, you want to see how dark it is in here, and they hit the fucking kill switch on the lights. And when you're 8 stories underground, that's true pitch dark. There's no
except for the little red lights for the exit signs and shit like that, because they have them all over the place now. They're there. Yeah.
It was dark as fuck. But where they stopped the boat, Sal, do you remember this? The river keeps going, and you can hear it pick up like serious speed, and it don't go back up, bro. It goes down. You can hear it falling off down. So it's going even deeper into the earth. And I'm thinking to myself, is Howe Cavern a fucking 15, the beginning? And there's a bunch of different parts that you can book private tours to go to that the marks you just can't go to on the regular tour, where if you're a serious, spelunker or cave enthusiast, you can fucking go and check them out. right? So, and go deep into parts that may be unexplored still is how caverns like Mammoth, another way to get there. And we also talked about the Grand Canyon with remember the Egyptian artifacts and how things were carved out there, and that so here we are from New York all the way to the fucking East Coast or West Coast with these strange anomalies.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if the Grand Canyon, because we're not allowed to go in the Grand Canyon, I wouldn't be surprised if the Grand Canyon had an interest into the inner Earth. It would only make logical sense.
It seemed like it if it's already that dug out deep, eroded from whatever water fixture, created it, why, if nature's going to do it for you, let's start there. If we're making to the middle of the earth.
So ready for some, you got to open your mind on this one.
All right.
So what if reptilians down below, underground, we saw all those lights. Remember outside the cities, Tommy saw one. They saw them down in Louisiana. They saw them outside. And what if those were the way to do transport? So now, I'm saying this, imagine what if underground, the crystals, the minerals, the certain collection of elements is what's needed to create these gates, these portals, these ways to jump in and out. And they're trying to synthesize it. So that's why they do tests over cities to see if they can create this without the minerals, without those crystals, without another thing to form another gate.
So you need the Infinity Stones to go through the gate?
But I'm saying, well, what if the certain type of crystals or the minerals in the earth of these particular places? What if there aren't just tunnels? What if the tunnels end and then you can just get there because they have the same makeup as this tunnel over here or this cave over here?
I like the fantasy side of that, but from everything that we kind of studied on and I watched in this week, it was either people who were just fucking stupid and took a wrong turn and got lost and ended up there, some kids who followed a cow who came out on this end, or a direct military thing. It doesn't seem like there's like a time dash where I lost my way and I didn't know, and all of a sudden I was transported. People in their stories that I recorded are like, it took a fuck of a long time to get there, but once we were there, we didn't want to leave.
No, my thought was more about the reptilians able to travel. As opposed to no. As opposed to finding another pocket or another, because I don't feel like people would be accepted and allowed to go there if they found it.
Well, it's said that one of the supposed reasons why they traveled underground, they came from the stars, is the mythology, obviously. So reptilians, avians, whatever it is.
Right.
But they found that they aged very quickly because of being out under our sun, because their planet didn't have that. So they went underground. Now, was it Hollow Earth and they knew that, or did they create that? And do they know how to create a small sun based on their CERN technology that they brought with them? It's possible. I mean, as anything, but it seems the reptilians want to be in the dark underground, away from. But I hear the word reptilian and I think reptile like us. You'd want to be near the sun to keep warm. So what the fuck do I know about?
Yeah, but they don't have to be. They're cold-blooded. Reptiles are cold-blooded, right?
Yeah, so underground you're at a perfect 55, 60 degrees all the time.
Unless there's vents coming up from this core of Earth, that's true. Unless core of Earth,
right? Yeah, I mean,
and the same way in Antarctica, you talk about these hot tropical pockets that they're talking about.
Hot pockets.
You got these giant domes of ice and what look like giant land masses of ice, and then underneath there's a crust of tropical jungle, and it's all kept through thermal pressure and shit like going back and forth, keeping it down, keeping it from melting everything.
Remember when we zoomed in on Google Earth on Antarctica and it was that green, super lush forest like in somebody's backyard in the middle of the ice and all that shit?
Mm-hmm.
How
No,
weird. I mean,
I was looking at Google Earth. That's why popping on took the screenshot of me. I was focused, and that's my focus face, my wife says. But I actually was trying to find a screenshot of Google Earth, like you said, without any landmass or that one we talked about before. It's just ice, and it looks like such photoshopped ice. Like I zoomed in to see if there's any kind of like terrain. Mm-hmm. It's literally like splotched. Like they just took a paintbrush and Photoshop and just basically created the landmass, which in earlier versions, those didn't exist. That was part of the Mandela effect we covered, that the North Pole was all water, but now it's back to having a landmass that looks just as big as Antarctica. So
wait. So your Google Earth showed that there's land in the North Pole?
Ice on the top and the bottom, which before when we looked at it, when we were talking about the Mandela effect, off of Jacob Israel's video, there was nothing. It was ocean.
Yeah.
So very strange.
Interesting.
And it's the same size, which the Antarctica one is supposed to be twice the size of the North Pole, right?
Yeah, because one of the stuff that I found, like I said, the Arctic Sea, which is the top of the world, is the same exact mileage as Antarctica. So it's like, it's not like Antarctica is this big and the Arctic Sea is this big. Like tit for tat, it's parallel, even, symmetrical, whatever terminology fits.
Well, if we're talking about a system that spins, that's just going to naturally, that's how it's going to form that way, right? It's not going to be uneven on one side and even on the other. It'd be out of balance that way. So,
but one side you have a land mass and the other side you just have a body of water. It's just saying the body of water is just as wide as the land mass underneath. You understand what I'm saying? So
sure. Yeah,
so what's funny, I mean, let's face it, if we have a hole underneath the bottom and a hole underneath the top, and you can go in either side.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's going to leak in the same size. Water's going to, move that same way as it generates that way. Now, the way it would spin inside, I just don't understand, and maybe that's me not wrapping my head or my simple mind around, if there is no gravity, and we do get up there and the water is flowing in where it's just pouring in down like Niagara Falls, it's got to take another right angle or left turn and go in to form this new inner earth some way. And the gravity that way has to get it to adhere to the inner walls. So say we got the ocean, then we got the seafloor, and the seafloor goes for 80 miles. And then on the other side of that seafloor, there'd be more water, or is that part of the seafloor the dome interior for the next part of flat Earth, or hollow Earth? But there still has to be some type of opening for that water to get in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. That's why we can't go over it with a plane, because you'll see it, and that's why you can't take pictures of the top of the bottom of the Earth, because there is an actual hole.
How does water go from our on the surface of ours down into the Earth and come back and not be affected on that cutback to fall again? Like it would stick to that inner side again. That's where I can't wrap my head around the physics of it, of what taking gravity away and just doing centrifugal force. Is that enough to keep it pinned to the opposite side of the coin of the seafloor? I don't know.
Well, if anyone else out there knows, enlighten us.
I thought you guys with some comic book knowledge like that shit might have been figured out by somebody more imaginative than me.
Well, isn't there a comic book with Hollow Earth? Someone was saying in the beginning of the show.
Dude, there's tons of shit with that. Tons of shit with Hollow Earth. Back in the 90s, D&D did a whole series of books on it, like splat books on Hollow Earth. Just other worlds inside the other world. So,
well, I mean, we're talking, we Agartha is the big name that gets kicked around a lot, but Shangri-La, what was the Nazi city base called?
Nishwabia.
New Swabia. And then, like I said, there's smaller cities and supposedly a whole world of people of different races of mixed breed, from the giants and who escaped from not just the floods, but supposedly Atlantis was at war with another race, and they had nuclear weapons at the time, and that's what drove them underground as well. So they were very worried when we touched off in Hiroshima and Nagasaki to say, hey, here's history repeating itself again. We ruined it for us then. Let's not do that again, and don't be stupid. That's kind of the message that keeps coming back from whatever beings that are on a more evolved and less marketed to existence than we are.
I like the fact that, well, not like the fact, but it's pretty interesting that every society or every culture previous, that lived on this earth also have reptilians in their stories. They have a dragon or they have a serpent or whatever the case may be. So maybe there are lizard people living, in the earth. Maybe there are lizard people that came to this planet a long time ago and conducted experiments on the human race and made us who we are today. But the one thing that makes me question this, even though I'm more of a firm believer of this than flat Earth, like night and day, I believe this 100% more than the flat Earth, is why come we are always the individual species that are dumb as dog shit, and all these other individual species that came, whether they're bluebirds or they're reptiles or whatever the case, are so advanced. Just because they got here in a ship, they could have great technology, but what if they're dumb as dog shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, how someone could be book smart, not street smart, and not have any common sense? What if that's the case with the reptilians?
Maybe we're only engineered to get to that level. Like dogs aren't engineered to be able to talk, but we can still understand them and communicate with them when we breed them to be only as high a level or as much of a mutt as we can be to aliens of a higher intelligence. We may be as simple as that of, as the song goes, we'll make great pets.
Well, that's the alien zoo theory there. And also, the fact that we only use about 5% of our brains, maybe with some of the stories we read and what we see on Twitter, even less than that. I mean, it's...
Well, if you watch SmackDown, they're only using about 2% over there.
And after you watch SmackDown, you can only use about 3% of yours.
Fucking Steiner math. I love it.
We use 2.5% for Master Shoot Theater. It's well worth it.
Yeah, I zoned out there. All I could think of was doing Vince bits in German. It was driving me nuts. It's probably going to keep me up all night, to be honest.
Yeah, pal, yeah.
9, Shane, 9.
Well, what you're describing, though, is the alien zoo model, where they have... those reptilians, those blue avians, or whoever's inside the hollow earth, if the theory is true, are the shepherds of the sheep or the animals in the zoo, and they're just kind of like entertained by us, watching us or keeping us in line. Or if we decide to blow ourselves up with nukes, they send a warning back with Admiral Byrd to say, hey, knock it off. Kind of like if a dog, ends up going to the bathroom on the rug or something. Yeah, I'm
they
serious.
Thought they were over. They're like, send Bird. Like the aliens are gonna be like, oh no, it's Admiral Byrd, and they're like, because
we understand the U.S. chain of command.
Yeah,
his 401k is huge.
Do you guys? Let's pack up and leave. Admiral Byrd's coming.
I bet you they were just fucking around, like in their own language. Like, oh my god, oh you're sending an aircraft carrier that floats on the water. Oh shit!
Wait a minute. What if they sent Admiral Byrd because it was the avian? So they're like, wait a minute.
Oh, that's his boy.
He'll be over with him.
Dude, that's fucking how stupid the fucking government is. They literally
send Byrd. He'll do it.
They literally did the Vince. They did the Vince. Like, hey, there's 2 Japanese girls. Let's team them up. Like, basically, his name's Byrd and they're birds.
Avians.
They're going to be friends.
Not get along? Get me Byrd on the line.
Get me Byrd on the line. We're putting him in.
Do you guys think there's any connection with this whole Hollow Earth thing and the national parks and the 411 missing people scenario?
I think that's highly possible, too. I wanted to get into that because here we are with more access in nature, and whether it's in South America or possibly in our own Yellowstone, Grand Teton Mountains. If you've ever been to Yellowstone or the Tetons, Grand National Parks there, dude, there's tons of sulfur springs that go far deep into the earth. And to me, there's just as easy to find a cave, because around here, like I was talking, Howe Caverns, it's all fucking farmland. You wouldn't think there's anything like that underneath your feet. And lo and behold, it might be under everybody's feet 80 miles below, but we don't have any idea because what have we been told? Oh, dinosaurs died and there's all this oil under there. It's going to all be igneous rock because it all came from lava. Well, what if that's all the bullshit? And there's so much more that they fucking know. Sure, I imagine things might get a little crazier with plate tectonics inside hollow earth, but that's just the lies we've been told possibly since kindergarten that we repeat and has made sense to us because we've been playing with a tennis ball, a dodgeball, a baseball, basketball. It's just easy to explain to a fucking simple mind, and we bid on it.
Maybe Moses didn't fucking build a ship and put everybody in it. Maybe he had something that went inside the earth.
Moses did not build a ship. I agree with you.
Saying maybe it wasn't a ship, maybe it was a drilling thing, or maybe it was like
maybe he got his friend Noah to do it.
Yeah, maybe he got.
Oh shit, you're right. No,
Yeah, I
my
read
bad.
the Bible. That's
And
fine.
Moses part.
Momoa.
Momoa,
Maybe
Jason
Moses-
Momoa came up.
He was Aquaman?
Joe came out and beat everybody in 3 minutes.
Nice.
No, yeah, dude, that whole story could be completely different as an escape story. I agree. I'd like to see, is that also a refuge for animals that we think are extinct, that are sea animals that we keep seeing coming back? You know what I mean?
Speaking, actually, the fact that you brought that up is today the word cryptid has been entered into the Merriam-Webster. Thanks for looking out. Yeah, that's finally a thing. It's animals who are said to exist but have never been proven. So now cryptids is an actual word and not just a fucking cool buzzword for people.
Yeah, so, smart wrestling fans are cryptids.
Boom. Yes.
I saw him at the show and I almost cut a promo on him and I didn't because I didn't want to put him over. I didn't want to say his name here. Sasquatch. I don't know if you saw him or not. I didn't even know.
Oh, he spoke to me and then I'm like, "Where's your hot girlfriend?" He goes, "It's a long story." I felt really.
Oh no.
Well, he had his own fucking T-shirt on, and I just about went up and fucking ripped it off him, dude. He's been on 4 shows in his life, and he got his own fucking T-shirt to sell to people.
It's funny. He was booked for 8. He didn't make 4 of them. Forgot.
Dude, he's not getting 8 bookings. Let's not lie.
Is he going to be doing a wrestling seminar soon at Cauliflower Alley?
Brutal, dude. That kind of shit. It kills me, dude. You've been on 4 shows. You've never been trained. Buy my T-shirt. ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben.
We'll see him on Monday night. He'll become a fucking superstar before I get a chance.
He'll be champ soon.
He's gonna get a big push.
For me with this.
I want to say something real quick, Ben.
What?
Sorry.
Please.
Do you think your boy Bigfoot comes in and out of fucking inner Earth and comes out and goes back?
Nope. What if Bigfoot is just a fucking normal species there, like the North American black bear? But out here, it's a fucking rarity. That's what I was going to go with animals. How many things that we think are extinct? Is there fucking velociraptors there and shit?
Well, he did say there's a ton of woolly mammoths that are still alive down there in that part that they've.
Isn't the woolly mammoth getting her ACLs fixed this fucking weekend?
That's my guy. Look at him. He's coming around. Everybody's getting a little religion this week. Shit.
I'm sorry, Stevie. There was too good of a segment.
No, I mean, I'm proud of you. Now we're all fucking buried, so it's all good. It's fine. The circle is finally complete.
It's there. He's finally coming around. All in one show too, from going in the asking for TV bookings in the beginning to burying Nia Jax at the end. Maybe that'll actually get him on TV at this point. These fucking crybaby motherfuckers bitching about their spot. They were on WrestleMania and they're fucking crying. Fuck out of here.
What about the days of now they're trying to keep those 2 girls apart and they're trying to settle it down because the heat is real. Where the puppeteer back in the day would be like, put them on TV next week. Let's not even give them time. Let's just see what happens. And let's not cut the commercial. That's the guy I knew.
Who are we talking about?
The girls.
Sasha threw a fucking fit because they lost the belts at Mania and walked off the job, so they gave her 3 weeks off. When she comes back, she's going to be right in line for a red hot push to win Money in the Bank.
Hang on.
So let that sink
time
in.
out. Let me just hang on. Fuck flat Earth. Fuck thermodynamics. Let me wrap my fucking head around this. So this piece of shit walked out of the WWE because
supposedly laid on the floor first. By the way,
the new women's tag team titles too.
She lost her fake, not worth anything women's tag team title.
Yes, laid on the ground. Laid on the ground in protest.
What happened?
No, you didn't. You need to recite the rest of the story, though. Sal.
Yeah, so
then they
went back to the hotel. They were bitching about it because they were told, her and Bayley were told that they were going to go on a big run, go beat all the girls at NXT, beat girls on both things, and then they took the titles off them. They were shocked at the news, laid on the ground in protest, and then Sasha quit at WrestleMania, and Vince said, we're just going to give you a couple weeks off to cool off. And then she went to the Dominican Republic on vacation. And when she comes back, right now, supposedly, Jason Jordan is working as an intermediary to smooth things over with the office. And when she comes back, she's supposed to win Money in the Bank, women's Money in the Bank.
Hold on a second. Why is Jason Jordan an intermediary?
Number one,
he's a producer now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, because his wrestling was over with.
I was going to say.
So this is Breaking Sale, episode 3, you guys. Welcome to Breaking Sale.
I got nothing on this. This is insane. See, because I didn't get to catch up on any of this. I wasn't on Twitter. I didn't get to see anything. I missed all of this shit. I had no idea. But just hearing this 30-second recap has made my head explode.
Yeah, this is from the days of, are you fucking kidding me? You would think you would do that in my locker room? I'll starve you out and fire you.
The fucking days
go
of,
on vacation. When you come back, you're going to be pushed as a heel.
Right? Like, I can't even think about, like, to think... oh my God! It's just repeatedly going on in my head. Like, what the fuck? From the days of people just, oh, you know what? No, that's fine. You know what? Cool. I'll pull my dad's dead casket out of a grave. That's fine. I don't want to pinch this off. No,
and you'll get heat because you didn't pull it out of the grave fast enough.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just pull this. I'll pull my dad's grave out, and Big Boss Man drag it out. That's fine. No, we're fine. We're good. Vince, no, I got it, buddy.
This was just over having to do a job, not even to do any business.
Over dumb fucking shit, like your shitty belt that means dick.
Well, they were told that they were going to go on an unstoppable run. Not
even mad. Now with Punk was mad about payoffs. Punk was mad about money. He didn't care about anything else.
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
that's real.
They never even asked how much they were getting paid for the biggest show of the year in front of 85,000 people.
Oh, your fake belt that I worked so hard to get.
That he just made those titles. They made those titles 2 months before that.
We worked so hard to get this.
The legacy of those titles.
We worked so hard to get here. Do you realize how much dye I had to put in my hair?
Let me play devil's advocate here, because maybe some dirt sheet writer posted it that way and we're taking it out of context. Maybe she's pissed because she was told AB3 and the opposite happened and she just had enough and just
which
couldn't
happens
take it.
About 100%. Happens about 100% of the time in pro wrestling.
I know. Trust me.
I've been there where
I've won I've been there where I've won a strap and they told me you're going to get a long run. Okay, great. And then what happens? 2 months later, I dropped the strap. So
that's
it is what it is.
But your replica belt right now has more pedigree than that. Those titles they dropped.
It's not a replica belt, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, pile on the salad. Just keep hitting them with it. Tell them about Heel Charlotte's promo.
Oh, where she comes out and puts over that everybody that they were in their main event of WrestleMania, not because they're the best women wrestlers, because they're just the best wrestlers on the card. And that's why it doesn't matter what you think about it. And then she then goes into bitching about how she didn't lose the title, but That's the whole thing. It's not about men and women.
Sal,
Who's
it's
the
a
best.
work. Don't get upset. She don't really mean
This
it.
is what I'm saying.
And then
work.
And then I'll send you Alicia Fox versus Becky Two Belts' match from Wednesday when they couldn't even do a legit.
Hold on, she still has a job. Hold on, she wrestles drunk, and she has a job.
Well, that's the thing. This week they
That's
had
gonna
her
be our
selling
manager.
drunk. They had her selling drunk while she wrestled, or else she was just legit drunk. One of the two, and like made Becky look like shit, made her look like shit. But they're the best on the card,
On the
bro.
roster.
They're the main
That's it. Roster.
That's all writer talk, dude. That don't get all upset. It is. You think not the writers are not giving him the promos? I mean, put it this way: they got 37 million
I don't know,
writers.
she believed it.
Well, you have to sell it, dude.
She fucking
They'll work. Maybe she does believe it. Maybe there is a little bit of truth in it. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you have 37 writers, but you still have to hire a what is it called? Continuity guy. What the fuck is that shit? If if a writer can't continue his writings and make it make sense, why does he have a job? Get rid of him.
I think the continuity guy now is going, "Yep, it's shit across the board. Good job, guys. Way to hold the fucking line.
Everything's lined up. It all sucks. Excellent continuity. We've achieved it.
Nailing it.
Wow, man. Okay. So again, I'm sorry. I know we got very sidetracked. This is my first hearing of this, and this is just
when FBI dropped the belts. Did you go lay in front of Paulie or Todd Gordon's door at the hotel and cry?
I did. I fell on the floor and I started kicking and screaming because I said, "Well, we're getting the loser's end of the purse on this." and then Paul said, "Saluch, no matter what happens, you will have a job with me, whether it's cutting lawns or driving cabs." I don't do either of those things right now, so I don't have a job with Paul. And this is what he told me. But again, the belts are fake. It's a rib that you have to carry them. She didn't build them. He made them up. He sat in a room with his pants off and his fucking dick on the table, and he's like, we should make a new belt, right? And they're like, yeah, Vince, yeah, sure. But how do you do this? How do you get away with it? Because now, put it this way: people feared Vince McMahon. Stevie, am I off?
I was one of them. Yeah.
Okay, people feared him. There were guys, correct me if I'm wrong. There were guys in the locker room who smoked who would not because Vince didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So they would never smoke in his vicinity because they didn't want to lose their job because they thought that might influence Vince, how Vince thought of them. And then you got this purple-haired schmuck who is flipping out over the fact that she lost a belt that they could give her back in a week because they'd be like, we changed our minds again. And she
should have been like, "Du bist geführt," which means you're fired in German.
Did she just set that all up?
He was looking it up.
I just don't get it. And again, people want to know, Stevie, did you do that after you lost the Hardcore Championship?
No, I didn't. I couldn't wait to lose it. They kept giving it. I cried when they gave it back to me. That's when I laid on the floor. But it wasn't from protest. It was from a fucking severe concussion. And I was bleeding out of my nose and
going,
eyes.
Somebody pinned me. Somebody doing the iconic style while he gets pinned.
Oh, my God.
She's the fucking worst.
Oh, good times, great oldies. And they lost to the Iconics, which I could see where that might drive you nuts. But
and they cried because they worked so hard to get there.
All right. As we wrap up Hollow Earth, guys, once around the horn here, I like it better than Flat Earth. I gotta say, the only thing I'm into on Flat Earth is what's beyond the ice wall. Is there something beyond there? And as we talk about not being able to go above the 66 parallel, and these stories of more greener pastures outside of the world we know, those parts of the stories line up to me, and something is being left out, and that we can have all this high res footage of other planets and nothing of our own when we're that close. It's what they're not telling us dispels their official story. So I like the fantasy of it. I like the fantasy that there's a whole nother inner earth, underworld with people who are wiser and better to each other than we are on this surface, and that we are actually the scabs of this shit, because we sure do act like it sometimes.
Well,
So
It is the Piri Reese map.
is it Piri Reese, right?
Yeah.
PIRI.
Because I remember it was PI. Yeah, I could remember the.
well, you know,
anyway.
this episode is
Magnum
going to make
PI.
this episode is going to make Eric Dubé lay on the floor and protest. So I hope you guys are happy.
I just so if do the flat Earth people have heat with the fucking Hollow Earth people?
Oh yeah. And then they have a
Yeah.
draft, and they have to switch sides once a year.
Right, and then they go,
The hollow, but the thing is, flat Earth people don't have other models to like show, like, hey, look at how this planet is operating. Do you think our planet might do the exact same thing? They've got to be an extra special story in the universe that doesn't line up with anything else. Where Hollow Earth has Einstein, Halley, and some other big fucking names putting it over. And then you can back it up with actual HD video footage from Jupiter and Saturn. It just feels like they have more credibility, and they're not choosing that hill to die on like flat earthers. They want a big fucking cross to nail themselves to and fucking stand up there, you know, and be like, look, but
it's like being a
Hollow
vegan.
Earth, yeah. Hollow Earth just seems like, hey, here's a little proof and some imagination, and that's why I kind of wanted to do it tonight. Go ahead, Sally.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't agree in a full Hollow Earth. I feel like there are the pockets, and I feel like there. And again, I get a lot of shit for it. I feel there are the reptilians. Those are the spots that they've not conquered, but they've claimed for themselves. They have those spots, though. And again, it turns into they don't have to claim it. You know, nobody's going to go find it. You know, you're not going to have some kid kick his ball down a hole and find reptilians. It doesn't work that way. I don't feel
the story of the green kids who followed the cow, right?
Right.
What about the Gong Show on the moon?
I don't think it. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't think the moon's metal.
No, it has to be metal. He's saying it's hollow when the
Yeah,
new
but
kid,
when they
rang like a
dropped
bell.
a fucking bomb on it and they fucking rang for 6 hours or whatever it was.
Right, but now people also think it's a Nazi metal base. They think it's
Well,
a
I
hollow
find that-
base.
Find that hard to believe, considering that the moon was here before the Nazis, but it's okay.
Well, no, that they actually have basically hollowed out and created an underground like city in the moon. Like that's a whole big thing, along with the fucking kids, the 33,000 kids who work there.
Yeah, they
Well, I do believe there's a civilization living on the moon. I do believe it is a holographic image like Wakanda blocking it, and that's what we see based off of Crow 777's glitch, you know? So,
Yeah, and that's a whole nother thing we didn't even talk about Crow really on how he's been censored. He's another one who's putting out media that just says what if, or here's some anomaly. He's not saying yes, this is it. You got to believe this. He's just putting out the anomaly that goes against an official story and getting shut down, which further goes against exposing their work of what they're trying to pull over. Go ahead, Sal.
Well, what if it's not the? What if the word? Come on, brain work. What if the holographic projector isn't on the moon? Like, okay, for example, technically,
so we're doing it from over here,
maybe
to cover
yes.
our asses or something. That could be true.
I think that would be more likely because put it this way. Why? And again, this is I'm making a fantasy reference.
It's supposed to be. This is a fantasy show. Go ahead, man.
Why wouldn't vampires be destroyed by the moon's light since the reflection of the sun?
It's interesting. Lunar waves block it. That's all I can fucking.
Right. So I don't think that we would take all this technology up there to make the holographic projector up there. We would do it from up here and just cover it.
Unless we went up there and it was already over there.
Yeah, but you're talking projection. You're talking technology of what we do. The moon's been documented through art and other sources. I don't think it's projection from Earth or anything along those lines. Stevie, Nia Jax, Hollow Earth or Hollow Girth?
Well, I want to go to the. I want to continue with the fantasy and say that the Arizona Cardinals will pick Kyler Murray. I know the wrestling fans have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, but the NFL draft is tomorrow. It's a little thing that $40 billion a year football league does. the one that's going
What's
to
up
crush
with
Vince's.
Andrade? Cien Almas.
Yeah, my fantasy draft. Actually, we're going to be recording Breaking Sale tomorrow night, possibly. So that might be during the draft. So you'll be getting my live reactions and also my live reactions to my brand new underwear. So it's a whole lot of good stuff. Fantasy hour.
You got new underwear?
I do. I went there. Yeah, I went the Tommy John route. I'm going to see how it is. I tried it on.
Wait, your kid's falling out a window?
What's that?
Never mind.
I was going to talk to Russo, but see, Russo goes into Howard thing. I was going to bring it up on Russo last night, but then Russo goes into full-blown Howard Stern mode. He would want to know, like, every detail, every inch, every pocket. You know what I mean?
Show him. What? Just shut him up and show him.
Look at how much better Sal looks since he got hot. Like he looks
his color's
so much
back
better.
in his face.
He's got so much color back in his face from when he started the show. Like I think we just made it out of the woods, to be honest with you. He looks like a different guy.
Amanda Swales, beginning of the show, she goes, "Oh my God, Sal looks like shit." Thanks, thank you guys for coming.
You were white, dude. You're way more flesh tone now than you were.
You were like Ric Flair signing at a convention pail.
I think you need to write Sasha Banks a thank you tweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or Lexi Kaufman, one of the two. But yeah, Stevie, what are you thinking, man, when it comes to Hollow Earth?
This is a little bit more. This is a little easier to like digest, I think, for people. And when you talk about the scientific background of this and what the alternate theories could be, you're not really changing the shape of the Earth. You're just talking about hidden things that are still hidden. You're talking about Antarctica. You're talking about things that are not ever photographed or caught on video. Like no one's ever thought about like why is the Earth constantly filmed or pictures taken from the same exact, and it's always the United States facing the camera of what's being taken. You notice that North and South America and Europe, it's never anything on the other side with Asia or Russia or anything like that. So it's really strange how you don't really get that kind of footage. And then the ISS is orbiting and showing the same exact thing they do all the time with the really, cool. It looks CGI. It really does when they're going over the lit up cities. But it's always the same thing. The United States or Europe, it's never a third world country or anything like that. Very, very weird. There's actually an episode of The West Wing, I think we've talked about it, where they I think it's more truth in TV and movies, where they talked about how that certain countries like Africa are way bigger than the United States and way bigger than North America. But the way that it needs to be presented is that the United States and North America or any region connected to it needs to be in a dominant position on the map and the globe. Mm-hmm. So right there, you're dishonest. And then you add up the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing where it's basically oblate spheroid and it's chubby at the bottom. It's a pear. I have never seen a picture of the Earth from the Japanese satellite that takes one picture every 10 minutes or the Discover one when they did the thing when the moon went around the Earth. I've never seen an oblate spheroid where it's chubby at the bottom. And that's the form most, astrophysicists.
I find that hard to believe. You used to be in an ECW locker room. Some of those rats were kind of chubby on the bottom. Not saying you're rats. I'm just saying in general.
I know, but Neil deGrasse Tyson, who also has been known to rat, apparently, this is a guy that all of a sudden that when the holes started to really come up in his story, this thing came up. And he might have really done it, or they might have just threw him out there, and then now he has to disappear. And he can't be this guy that goes on every TV show with the same exact narrative because people are going to start blowing holes in it. So that's what I mean. Like, no matter what theory it is, whether it's flat Earth theory, hollow Earth theory, or whatever the shape or whatever the Earth looks like, or whatever the universe looks like, NASA is at the center with the deception, the lies, and the lack of any real footage.
Yeah, it's what they don't shows their true colors. When they could easily put something out there and dispel it all, they don't. That undercuts their credibility. Most of the stuff we talked about tonight came from a great website, universeinsideyou.net. universe-inner-earth. That's universeinsideyou.net/inner-earth. And the title was Inner Earth Civilizations Exist, and I Can Prove It, Agartha and Hollow Earth. It's a very good read, blog, and YouTube video in there, about 43 minutes, where it really lays it out without trying to be too fanciful. There's a couple things I could punch holes in where they try and draw, like I talked about with Saturn and Jupiter and, us not being special, but they say things, blanket statements like, if one planet's like this, then we can assume they all must be like this. I don't like when fucking videos do that kind of shit. I think that's haphazard. But yeah, man, sorry, go ahead.
The music in that video was annoying.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in an elevator.
But I like the dude. That guy hired a professional voiceover person to do his video because he goes, I read in the comments, he goes, nobody wants to hear my 23-year-old male Bulgarian accent trying to speak English. And I was like, you're goddamn right there, brother. Good job hiring the chick to do it. People asking, did I get a new chair? Well, I'm getting a chair maybe to compete with Stevie's here next week, but Triple D and I just went and got the new recliner, and yes, Darth Vader is done, as you can see over there.
Oh, Mondo.
Nice.
Mondoed. So I just got to go ahead and take the supports off, which I may do tonight, and the head printed very nicely. Was able to give GGP a couple small pieces. Unfortunately, Han Solo's hand broke off in
Glued it right back on. It's good.
It's good. When I was saying
carbonite,
you can snap a hand off, glue it back on. Yeah, man, I thought this was a fun show to talk about this gimmick because it's something we're still being favored on, and there's plenty to say. What I think out of this, who can we get to in the UN to have them on in a friendly capacity, but then we'll ask them a question about this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll look at us and say, these guys look very friendly. Look at these four.
So, let's see. Let's see.
I don't believe no one made a Teddy Long joke today and was like, hollow, if you hear me. Nothing.
No.
Nobody had nothing.
Just did, brother.
Yeah, it'll be up in his
showing
t-shirt
off the
store
war
by the
room
end of the
says
night.
Justin Friend. Yeah, it'll be a tag match.
Word is a word.
Get him in there.
We should go out on that
we're
song.
We're gonna open with that, and we're gonna close with Birdman. What happened to that boy? Because his whole crew got shut up. From Frankie Zero, from the Conspiracy Horsemen. Sorry,
He's doing well.
Yeah, from the Conspiracy Horsemen at gmail.com general neutral messaging system. Frankie Zero says, I'm home and I'm healing up from surgeries. I let Sal know what I went through because he's the only one of you I can private message on Twitter. And that's probably because of the length of my writing. So briefly, all in caps, I'm now home and starting to catch up on your cast, and I've got a long way to go. Please believe that I didn't go into hiding like a little bitch, regardless, all in caps, of how I came across in subsequent messages. I'm really hoping now that I'm able to work again, I can make a dent in the debt I've accrued since being disabled, and with some luck, I can rebuild my customer base. I do have quite loyal ones that I was able to have a buddy go take care of, but that I didn't offset the expenses I had. I can't try to duplicate what you dubbed the perfect storm of my first emails without forcing it and probably failing, so I won't try here. It wasn't planned then, so trying it now would be forced, and I wouldn't want to try and write a novel.
Writing a novel about writing and not writing a novel.
Only 4 more paragraphs to go. Let's see. Write a novel for obvious reasons. It isn't fair to Ben, no matter how entertaining it might be, to try to intentionally irritate Papadon. I see new types of podcasts by you guys, and I can't wait to hear them. Please list them for others that might not know all about your great work. Well, that would be Breaking Sail. That would be The New Force Order. That would be Cancel This Podcast by Andrew Bello. And all the greats that you've known to come and love to hear at hackerhameen.com.
It was my understanding that everyone had heard. Heard what?
Oh, I'm putting it on. You're beating me to it. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We're all on the same page with this.
So, like I said, I'm healing up nicely, and I'm able to do some AC work now, and I hope the phone rings so I can make some money. Not going to ask you to plug my company or number, though, because after coming across wrong in some emails to you guys, I would feel like I'm being selfish. I thank you in advance for the hours of content you put out that will entertain me when I catch up on all your new content. I do hope all of you guys, if any of you guys are in South Florida, you'll let me know so I can get photos. But I would really treasure a group shot of you guys signed to me so I can laminate it. And yes, GGP, you can flip me off in it if you wish. My birthday was March 28th, so I've got family members that I can ask to pony up some money for it. And since my surgeries went well, I'm not dead, I guess there's no rush. So it's at your leisure, of course. Just let
Okay,
me.
you want a picture? $400. That's the picture. $100 for each of us, and then we can give it back to Stevie so he can buy his camera. If you're not going to give us $400, stop writing emails.
Now, just to clear this, I told you guys that he was going through surgery and he wasn't dead.
No, you didn't.
I appreciate you reading this, whether on air or not, and I truly hope that you believe all I've said. I forgot to include my photo of my totaled van and an absolute pigsty of tools and AC parts that sat waiting for me to heal up. Frankie Zero, sent via quantum mechanics to your neutral messaging system. Well, Frankie, we're happy you're out of surgery. You're back, buddy. Kicking out, and appreciate you listening while you heal up there. Do all your physical therapy and get back out there. Find people at Goodman Compressors. I believe their stock price are down since you haven't been on the job, brother.
Copeland generators haven't been the same.
That's it.
Glad you're feeling better. Now do us all a favor. Stop breathing. Next.
Way to go. All right, I'm going to do
Thanks
it.
for listening.
Now you need to do it the proper way. See, that's why I paid $600 for this.
Oh my God, this is Surfing Bird by the Trashmen. This is my favorite song of all time.
Turn it up, baby.
I can't turn it up any more than this. This is a low.
$600.
Wow.
Oh, you got ripped off.
Should have got the one with the volume control on it.
Or you should have got the one that GGP has.
What the hell? No. Hey, Peter.
I got it. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. I'll do it again. Actually, I sent you guys one of Peter doing "Bird is the Word" for 10 hours straight.
Bird is the word. Chris, don't you know about the bird? Make everybody know that the bird is the word. Oh, well, a bird. The bird is the word. Hey, guy behind the counter. The bird is the word. Hey, frightened little child. The bird is the word. Lady on the toilet. The bird is the word. Hey, don't you know about the bird?
Sure, everybody knows that the bird is the word.
Oh, well, a bird. The bird's a word. Oh, well, a bird. Again. I love repetition.
I forgot I had the Bluetooth. I had the Bluetooth on, so it was the wrong input.
We got our money's worth.
Good.
Colorado red flag legislation from Mike Motto. Not Mondo, Mike Motto. Allah conspiracy horsemen, please do not use my last name. Too late. Started listening to your podcast since March 2018. For the last 2 months, my wife started listening, beginning with Dr. Janda podcast. Excellent.
Oh,
choice.
nice. What book did he write, Stevie?
He's a book, right?
That was the Awakening of the Surgeon, available on Amazon.com right now. He says he misses all of us. They'll be back on soon.
Excellent. We want to talk more with Operation Freedom. Dr. Janda, check him out. Follow you guys. Tell him the Horsemen sent you. We are gun owners who live in New Jersey, also called the People's Republic. We will keep this short. Last week, Colorado passed the red flag legislation allowing courts to issue orders for the confiscation of individual guns. California, Florida, and Illinois also passed red flag legislation. Would like to hear your feedback. All podcasts are great. Looking forward to the next breaking sale. Thanks, Mike. Please do not use my last name.
Okay,
Mondo.
Mr. Motto.
Yeah, Mondo, Mike Mondo. Yeah, man, red flag legislation, especially when it comes to marijuana laws where you want to smoke weed, guess what? You won't be a gun owner. But today, in the county that my black site is in upstate New York, I saw one of our legislators say that he will protect all Second Amendment rights via the county and is writing legislation to do so, while Schumer and other, super Democrat, Illuminati agenda pushers are putting up 5G towers, and when they want to pass weed, they're going to try and do the exact same thing for gun confiscation to put you on. I hate to bandy around the word Nazi, but it's exactly that, a Nazi role. It's some straight out of Gestapo tactics. and that's what they want to do here. So it's not going to happen in upstate New York. There's just way too many gun owners. I know guys that have 300-400 guns at their house, dude. So it's impossible. Not that they're weed smokers, or they may be. Doesn't matter. You never hear about somebody, oh, dude, I smoked a blunt and then went fucking shot up the place. That's the opposite of what happens when you smoke weed. So, it's just the fact that they want to do if this, then that, to try and push their Eric Holder. We got to brainwash them every day about guns as they fucking creep down the field 1 yard at a time, 1 foot, 1 inch at a time. They're going to do it every way they can. If anybody wants to take your guns, come take them. You know where they'll be, in my cold fucking dead hand. They're easy to find.
They should call this act, instead of the red flag act, the black sheep act, because then you can get with this or you can get with that.
Yeah.
You can get with this or you can get with that.
Wow.
Big joke now, that guy, if he heard this show, he's like, I'm calling up there. I'm getting my fucking residuals. I'm going to sell my song here. Yeah, man, it's a fuck thing. And what's even worse is when they name it things like red flag legislation and shit like that, where it's all masqueraded. In upstate New York, you can see signs all over for repeal the SAFE Act, which was another step forward of them doing gun confiscation and them, making it harder to get weapons if you want them legally, no matter who you are. But they name it that 1984 doublespeak, the SAFE Act. And what mother isn't going to go, oh, it's a gun law, the SAFE Act? Yeah, I'll vote for that. Get all the Nancy Browns out there. That's the PSYOP. That's exactly how they fucking run it.
Now, this Nazi roll, instead of it being a Rick roll, would it be a Third Reich roll?
Oh, shit. Listen to him.
He's just throwing them down, man.
Catch him down at McGillicuddy's for open mic night tomorrow night, guys. Fucking 2 for 1s.
That's it, man. Tip your veal, try your waitress.
Yeah. Stevie, you got any good jokes?
I got that JFK joke I can tell again.
That's a good
I
one.
want to hear it. Let me hear it.
You've heard it
Didn't know
already.
the guy. You can get your book.
No, I didn't.
All right. Well, everybody out there knows I'm a history buff, and I'm a big fan of JFK. As a matter of fact, on the Conspiracy Horsemen,
You would
I
go
always
save
say
him,
I was
right?
going to save him while popping on Wrestle Kerry Von Erich and slam the cage door on his face. But regardless of the fact, JFK.
Inside your house. Wow.
All right. So JFK was known, known for a lot of things, but one thing people didn't know about JFK was that he was a Golden Gloves boxer, which I personally have a big problem with. I mean, because when you really think about it, the guy couldn't even take a shot to the head.
See, and that's so weird because I didn't know this. Everybody thought he was like a big Catholic. He was Jewish. He was shot in the temple.
Tuttle 17 says, I'm sorry, but Ben needs to read the Turner Diaries. I know it's a lot of right-wing propaganda, but dude wrote in the book in the 70s and he predicted all this shit. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do, is be caught with the biggest racist right-wing fucking terrorist book, the Turner Diaries. So when I'm on trial, finally, they can fucking whip that out as the final piece that sends me away 30 to life.
I have a solution for you, dude.
Yeah, I would follow this guy's email back because this motherfucker's trying to get you buried.
Big time.
Yeah.
You know what you should fucking do is go and molest some kids and tape it and then put it out on your Instagram.
No, as a joke, you
too.
should totally take pictures with like a schoolyard full of kids as a joke.
Yeah. I mean, with your dick out, it'll be funny.
It'll be funny. It'll be like hashtag turtle. It'll be funny.
Peekaboo.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Solar Observatory follow-up from Brett Collette. Hey, Horseman, first off, let me thank you for the weekly mental workout. The podcast is a perfect midweek treat. I wrote to you guys a couple of months ago regarding the activities surrounding the Solar Observatory in the Southwest. I've been doing some digging trying to follow up with what happened, and I can't hardly find any information about it. I was wondering if you guys have heard anything that you could share. I can't even find a picture of the suspect. It was a hot story for a week or so, then radio silence. Thanks, guys. Brett, sent from my iPhone 7 Plus. I don't need to get that $1,000 phone every year. Fuck that. Yeah, man, you're spot on. I tried to do a little research, maybe even just like a month or two after it happened, not recently, and it was tough because I thought there'd be a follow-up. I don't know the guy's name, and to me that is Something far more sinister. We had a couple conspiracy theories on it, but when do you ever send in SEAL Team 6 with a fucking Black Hawk helicopter to take out a child porn watching janitor? That's usually not something we've seen. So what do we think, guys, is going on with that during that time? Planet X, what's up?
Somebody sent him an email and they're like, you know what you should read? Turner Diaries.
Yeah.
Check out the Turner Diaries, bro.
That's why they closed the post office down, because that's where he was about to go pick it up.
He's like, oh, cool. I sent it to you, bro. Just go check it out.
Yeah.
It's funny how it did go silent. I mean, they never showed a picture. They never showed a person. They never mentioned a person's name. They just said it was a janitor with some porn, which was bullshit.
Right, and if he's guilty, they have to put his name out.
Yeah, you're right.
That's part of the Information Act. So,
or was there even something in the mail there that they wanted to get? We talked about that, right?
But again, logistically, if there was a guy who was a threat, why would they evacuate everybody and give him the opportunity, a chance to escape? You would consolidate everybody in one place and just go in guns blazing. Well, not guns blazing, because you might shoot someone who's innocent, but go in like SWAT and capture him before he gets a chance to escape.
You're on top of a hill on an observatory, one way in, one way out, and they do a helicopter land with military for a police action. Come on, guy. And then supposedly, wasn't there 2 bodies found near there down the side of the mountain? There were murders there as well.
Yeah.
Recently, right before that.
Yep. And then nothing.
All covered up. I'd like to. I think we should follow up on this, guys.
But if there's no information, we can't. I mean, there's nothing. We couldn't even find it in Earth.
Even if we call and we call live on air through the roadcaster, and leave a message. At least we're doing our due diligence.
Well, what's the name of the Solar Observatory? What's the name of it?
Sun
Solar Observatory.
Let's see.
Sunspot
Observatory. Sunspot. Yeah.
Sunspot from
National Solar Observatory. Sunspot. Well, now it's reopens. This was like last year, September 18th. So what's the Sunspot Solar Observatory? I'm going to look up the phone number. Maybe we'll call them now.
You won't do it.
Star 67 before I do it.
As Black Hawk helicopters land in Atlanta.
Sunspot. That's the National Observatory. So
just call the post office.
Ooh. Well, they're closed now, dude, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm trying to figure out, like...
What state was it in? Was it in Colorado? Arizona?
No,
what was it?
It was New Mexico, wasn't it?
It was New Mexico. That's right. So what is it, 2 hours or 3 hours back?
Here, Sunspot Solar Observatory has a Facebook page. So let's see here. All right.
Yeah, they're owned by a conglomerate, and...
Justin French says, bye, Stevie. It was nice knowing you.
Tell me your name is Justin French.
Now you're going to be able to thank
all of our
they're
cheers
closed at 5
96.
p.m. New Mexico time. I'm going to send a screenshot.
Did you say you want to thank all your bitches here?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all my bitches, like Purdue 9600 for 1,200 bits, Eric Kent, my main bitch out there, 500 bits, and Brent Logan, my down low ho, 300 bits tonight. Appreciate you.
By the way, I want to ask everybody out there before we move on to the next email if they would like to see the Conspiracy Experience shirt come to Pro Wrestling Tees.
The Conspiracy Experience Raiders.
Yeah.
Is it maybe next week?
Are they called the Nordic Nuisance now? Is that their name?
The Pillage People is what Ben called them.
Pillage People.
Oh my God!
Really, the Pillage People? That's for real?
Not yet.
No.
That's fucking genius.
That came out of the Hameen Media discussion group. I boosted it for Russo last night. Security alert from Google. No-reply at accounts.google.com. New device is signed on to conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com. Check activity.
That told me that right before we went on the air. So
yeah.
That's weird.
Fake Apollo missions from Paul Quinn. Sends a link from Center for and InformedAmerica.com/moondoggy-1. I don't know if that's Moondog Spot or Rex, but I sent you this link a while back. Just wondering if you ever got the chance to read it in reaction, if you've ever had. Thanks for everything you guys do. Paul in Louisville. Shout out to Louisville OVW heads. I think we did look at it. I don't know if we went in depth in it. We just trade so much. Oh, yeah, I remember this, man. This is a lot to get through. I'll resend this around, but it was very good when I did peruse through it last time. I just need to refresh my memory on it. But that is all we have from you guys at conspiracyhorsemen@gmail.com, gender-neutral messaging system. Anybody on fake Apollo missions?
They're fake, like the UFC
Like the NFL.
and the NBA
And the NBA as well.
and the MLB.
Jesus Christ. 8:35. We giving them enough show tonight. I'm getting pretty hungry myself. I had a light lunch today. This keto diet.
You know who's not hungry? Tommy Dreamer, because he ate all fucking Sal's jerky.
It was good too. Wasn't that good jerky?
Oh, it's
You
so
guys
good.
enjoy it on the way home.
So good.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, everybody, I gave some of the Mike Verna and Talon came up with me, and Troy, who's a promoter who used to run Five Boroughs Wrestling, came up with me, and they tasted Bin's jerky. So they renamed Bin. They gave him a new nickname. His name is Bin Hamit.
Said, yeah, ladies. Yeah, all the meat you
porn
can
name.
handle. Meat and grapefruits. Get it in you.
Yeah, don't ming your gweech.
Side of Guich. Little Guicho, they call me.
He's ruined. It's ruined forever.
Shit. So the phone number for the Sunspot Observatory is 575-434-7000. Thank you, Dudebud6969, getting that double flip-flap blowjob pussy eat over there. But congratulations, and give them a call, you guys, and say, hey, whatever happened to that time that the Black Hawk helicopter landed on your driveway and infiltrated the mail room, and you guys claimed it was child porn, and have you had any new murders? And then we'll get the answer to those questions and more, possibly on the next Conspiracy Horseman. But before we do that, we'll take it around, see where the guys are going to be this week, so you can get your shirts and come on out and support us wherever we are. Sally, we're just glad that you're kicking out and that you're red hot, and hopefully you got enough left in you for a new Breaking Sal soon.
Yeah, so hopefully I won't look like a piece of shit tomorrow, I guess, some way. Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to try to record, and there's some other stuff coming out. We might be able to do a horror junkyard episode.
Nice.
I've been getting a lot of people have been sending me shit. Like, they just don't want it to go, so they're just sending me tons of shit. So
Sending you stuff where?
Two. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, actually, it's the horror junkyard at protonmail.com. That is the CERN secure server. Will never be hacked. And, not like you could do the Yahoos or whoever has that shit. So, yeah, people are sending me a lot of ideas, a lot of movies. People are like, oh, you got to check this out. They're just DMing me on Twitter and shit. So, guys, thank you for, wanting to see it. So things have changed. We might be able to get that back up and running. We're maybe get. What
I miss?
I don't know.
I'll tell you off air.
Yeah, sure. You running for fucking office or something? Like, things have, we've had some changes around here.
We've had some change. we've had some team changes. So, all right. So yeah. So maybe tomorrow we'll do some stuff. I don't know. And aside from that, pro wrestling tees with Sally SEG shirts, right?
Yeah, it's the SEG shirts. The new Breaking Sal shirt up there.
Yeah. Who did that? You or Stevie?
Stevie.
Yeah. They kiboshed my reptilian one. They didn't want it. So, yeah. So I'm working on some other designs, and I've been fucking around with that iPad. I want to master it.
They kiboshed my Tackle Brett. They wouldn't put that up.
God
That's
damn it!
awesome.
I know.
So yeah. So working on some more shit. So yeah. So that'll be cool. We'll hopefully get some other stuff going.
Are you gonna, in honor to make amends to Sasha Banks, dye your goatee purple and call yourself the Purple Meanie?
I'm gonna dye my gooch purple. So it's
supposedly, Justin French says, because I was going to offer to come on the junkyard since there's changes happening, but he says if I go on the junkyard, I have to watch the Greasy Strangler.
Oh my God!
And he'll PayPal $100 for the.
If he pays pals you $100, we'll watch it.
Don't do it now. Do it after we do it. Don't put the pressure.
Is that a porn?
What is the Greasy Strangler?
No.
What is that?
It's Strangler Steve's home movies.
It's such a garbage movie. Awful. Oh. Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't.
Well, I hope he PayPal's 100, and I hope you have to watch it, and that'll go towards the camera fund, and we'll be off to the races that way. GGP, best match on the card, Mr. Semi-Main Event himself. What's good, man? What's going on this weekend?
This weekend, Saturday night, I will be wrestling at NYWC. Talon and myself will be defending our newly won NYWC Tag Team Championships versus The Rep, the two jabronis that we smacked around and took the belts from. That will be at Deer Park, Long Island. You can get your tickets at nywcwrestling.com. You can reach out to me. At Greek God Papadon is a Twitter handle. Demetrius Papadon is the Facebook account. The Pro Wrestling Tees store is Pro Wrestling Tees / Greek God Papadon. And the YouTube channel is YouTube. It's the Greek God Papadon. There's no / Sorry.
And you can watch his match with Tommy Dreamer there.
Oh, yes. You can watch my match with Tommy Dreamer there. Or you can watch it on the Hami Media Group.
Yeah.
Also, we just recorded episode 6 last night of the New Force Order podcast, which is a Star Wars podcast with myself and my buddy Spiro. Well, we had another guy come on, New York doctor. He does a lot of the shows as a doctor. His name is Dr. Alex Arroyo. Cool dude, big geek, loves the show. So he came on. We talked about some Star Wars toys and this and that and the other. It was a very good episode. You can send us emails about the New Force Order to newforceorder@yahoo.com. It's not protected by CERN, but our show runs every week. So it doesn't matter if you can hack the email. The show will be up there. It doesn't make any sense to send something to a server that's protected and can't get hacked if you don't put out shows. That's like preposterous.
Johnny Come Lately decides to get on the gets on the air, and now he's a big star. All right.
Listen to me. I'm not a big star at all.
Right. No, I know.
Don't get upset there. I mean,
trust me, I know.
That jerky makes you cocky, Sal. I mean, once you have the jerky, you get cocky. That's just how it is.
Because this fucking guy fought zombies with fucking Shane Douglas, and now he's rocking the triple threat colors. Come on.
Did you guys talk about that $365,000 Star Wars toy? You shared that today, yeah?
No, I didn't share. I was thinking about doing it, but then CTE kicked in, and I forgot to mention it. But we did touch base on this. And it was, you guys can jump in on this because it affects all of us. There's a chick who came on Twitter. Her name was Ashley Sinclair. She's actually friends with Adriana DeChico, right? And a guy did a review about the episode 9 trailer. And this guy did a review just like that guy who cried, "It's still real for me." He started tearing up and got all emotional about the trailer. This chick went on Twitter, took the trailer, said, "Look at this guy right here. All Star Wars fans are beta males. I'm tired of society being the way it is and people losing their masculinity because they like watching sci-fi and Star Wars and this and that and the other." Basically belittled this guy. So last night we just put her in check. I invited her on the show a couple of times. She hasn't responded. I even DM'd DeChico saying, "Hey, get your girl on here. We'll have a nice little discussion." Didn't hear back. So if she wants to come on here instead and talk to the four of us who all love Star Wars and Star Trek and sci-fi and all our alpha males and our little fucking skinny jean wearing, sissy boys, you're more than happy to come on here and talk to us. So we'll have a nice conversation.
Absolutely, man. If you can get it booked, I would, because we're not going to fucking go, too war dog on her. But
no, not at all.
At the same time, you can't make a blanket statement about a massive fan base, unless it's AEW's. And listen,
I played that devil's advocate, and I said I could see her point of view, saying that men nowadays are more
she
feminine.
watches Big Bang Theory.
Okay, and to her point, there's a lot of men out there who are very feminine with their fucking men purses and their hair gel and their fucking skinny jeans and wearing makeup, whatever the case may be. But case in point, just because you like something, you can't belittle that person for liking that and trying to make an example out of them. You know, in this case, it has to be Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? In another case, it could be Cars, or it could be Star Trek. It could be fucking V for Vendetta, or V, you know, whatever sci-fi thing you like. It doesn't even have to be sci-fi. It could be fucking cards. It could be Pokemon. It could be tabletop games. It could be horror. It could be anything. If that's your thing, good for you. Don't belittle them because you're not adding anything to it. You're just making this more of a shit show than it already is. And then when you're done, you can go in the kitchen, make us all a sandwich, get us a cup of blue milk. We all be well. Thank you.
Ya Allah, he's the man. You guys follow him at Greek God Popping On. Follow Sal at Dead No Save on Twitter. Let us know. Stevie, what's going on, Briz?
Well, I got StevieRichardsFitness.com. I'm adding those weekly yoga videos to the YouTube channel every Monday morning, and then early access and downloadable videos for the Patreon supporters. I want to thank, we have 2 new Patreon people this week, so that's a really good start to that. And also we have the 12 and 16-week resistance band training program, and for people that don't want to work out 5 days a week, which I have heat with, by the way, but that's still 2 less days than I would like suggest. But I know it's not a good pitch, right, Sal? But but that's why I created the full workout video, so you could do the full workout video 3 times a week, 20 minutes a day, and also we have the shoulder mobility workout video. So you can follow me at Stevie Richards on Instagram, at Twitter, at BWO Stevie. I do check it once or twice a day, so I have started checking it again.
He's always on it.
No. ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards, where I'm thinking about just testing the waters and putting up I Hate Ryan Barkin t-shirt at Pro Wrestling Tees to see if it gets approved. He might just do it just because he pops for it. And it might sell just as a rib, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
until Cody, the big joke is then Cody comes out with it on AEW and you sell 2,000 of them overnight. That'd be awesome.
Sal, when we created the Small Elite Wrestling logo, I was like, I wonder if I should throw that in there. But I don't think I don't think that'll get through. I think the Reptilians before that.
I think you'll have to give Taz a cut of that.
Brother, I'm waiting for this fucking priest to come in. What the fuck? Priest hunt us. Priest hunt us, brother.
With this lollipop all fucking day, brothers. You guys said it was going to be quick. He was going to touch me quick.
It's a fucking radio show, not a podcast.
He's going to come in, he's going to bless me, and then we're going to call it a day, right?
Yeah.
Sprinkle some holy water on me.
I'm going to have my head on my Halliburton next to Perry. Then we're going to remember that shit. Yeah, you do, Sal. All right.
Everybody needed the Halliburton.
Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I got about 41,200 subscribers now, so I want to thank everybody. It's growing slowly but steadily.
Nice. Touch me if you can.
Make me come if I let you.
Subscribe if I let you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What? Well, you just said jerk me off if you can. What the fuck? How does it end? I don't know what the finger thing is, but I know a little bit.
Stevie's going to be in your neck of the woods if you're in Georgia this weekend wrestling. Yeah, Stevie?
Your red neck of the woods.
Are you? No, I thought you had a show this weekend, too. I thought I saw a poster.
It already happened. Well, no. That's May 18th. That's the pay-per-view for Wildcat. Thanks for reminding me. I would have no show.
Wildcat, yeah. I saw a poster today.
Dude, Bud, is the movie Church with Big Vito worth downloading?
Yeah. Is that our next watch party on Breaking Sal?
Is the movie worth stealing? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Did he really do a movie?
It's called Church. He was putting pro on it today, man.
Big star in it, brother.
Support Big Vito. Go over there. Tell him the Horsemen.
Indonesia, wherever he's champ, or
Nepalese. He's a Nepalese champion. He's a Nepalese movie star now.
Yeah.
That's it.
You get 10% off anything he's selling. Just use the code Horseman.
Stevie, are you going to let them know about the coupons for the bands?
Yeah, because you can see it right at the bottom top sides of the website. If it's totally black on the website, there's the coupon. We see nothing. Like stars and all the NASA photos from the moon. There's your coupon.
You can put in code infidel on my Pro Wrestling Tees store and add 15% to your checkout if you want to. ProWrestlingTees.com.
You should start charging that 18% gender surcharge.
That's
across the board.
See if we can put Barkin out of business.
Nice.
Before we do here, twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Appreciate all the bits as we re-up for another year at hackerhameen.podbean.com. The money goes straight to that, you guys. So I appreciate that. Helping to support the free platform. As always, I'm headed back up to Crossfire Wrestling on Sunday for a show up in St. Catharines with my tag partner Congo Kong as we put a beating on the Piss Beaters, a.k.a. the Piss Eaters, up all night pissing their pants as they got to face Jay Moore's Terror Squad, the Twin Terrors, Hacker Hameen and Congo Kong. So it should be an easy night for us, and then we always got the back of the man who's got the world on his shoulders, Phil Atlas. It's the Moore family affair back up at Crossfire this Sunday in St. Catharines, Ontario. Best shirts. I don't care if it's me. I don't care if it's Stevie. I don't care if it's GGP or the new Break and Sale shirt, you guys. There's nobody, not Bullet Club, not AEW, not nobody, not any legend who's got shirts like the Conspiracy Horsemen do. So do yourself a favor and pick one up and be the biggest smark of all the smarks at your next indie show and show them that you listen to the best podcast here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman infidels. Y'all.
Let me shut this off.